soft blue light. This unfamiliar glare, it blocks me out, I'm blinded. Inspired my efforts to keep you satisfied. I seem to be losing you, it's not worth the fight. So I speak up, I scream into the void. I reach for a hand to guide me through the shape will we not?
Get it while it's hot.
Hello, and welcome to my humble abode. It's the Rocket League Rival Series. I'm Tom F. Battinger, and obviously we've got a new look. No, I didn't just decide not to travel this week. Unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, COVID-19, Psyonix and Rocket League are taking a number of precautions. So the remainder of the Rocket League Rival Series will be here, right here in my living room, remote. Of course, all the action will be the same and the people will be the same. Shout outs to my co-commentators and my analysts. Let's say hello to Subi, live from California. And of course, Sean Spaceman Rogers from Be More. How you guys doing, guys?
Doing pretty good today. Absolutely missing you guys this morning. It just wasn't the same not getting to drink my coffee sitting next to you guys talking about Rocket League. But hey, either way, we're going to get through this, and it's still going to be a fantastic season.
Oh, thank God I don't have to sit next to Subi for a while. It's such a good day. Oh, I can't wait. But I missed you guys.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we're going to have a little bit more fun here since we're kind of comfortable. And let's get comfortable and talk about the Rival Series. So the format and prizing here is very interesting. Look, the format, as we said, 10 teams in the Rival Series. And RCD Espanyol sitting up on top, undefeated still. Baguette squad on the other side of that spectrum. Unfortunately, they're having some issues here, unable to find their footing. I've been keeping an eye on Triple Trouble and We Damn Girlz. Those teams probably will rocket up to the moon and see how they find themselves up on top. Subi, out of all 10 teams, which one sticks out to you the most?
It's got to be We Damn Girlz sitting at 5th right now. I did not expect them to drop a game, especially not to RCD Espanyol. Nothing against them at all. Obviously, they are the best team in the league right now as far as standings are considered, but I just thought We Damn Girlz was going to go undefeated this season. They have looked unstoppable, and then they just came out last week and fell on their face.
I got to agree. They've been a lot of fun to watch here. Spaceman, we are 3 weeks in. This, of course, is week number 4. How you feeling?
Feeling really good. I think that we've seen a lot of shakeups that we weren't really expecting. I think to kind of bounce off the point you just made, like Triple Trouble sitting at 2-2, they kind of remind me team-wise like of Charlotte Phoenix in North America, just the chemistry, the smarts, the ability on the field. But I'm just surprised at their current placement. Same thing with Charlotte Phoenix. I think that this season's kind of shaken up the meta a bit, and these rookies are coming out and firing.
Well, we've seen who's playing and how well they're playing. Let's take a look at what they're playing for. 10 teams, only one will automatically make it up to the championship series. That's the number 1 team. They'll swap out with 10 from the RLCS. Teams 2 and 3, that is 2nd and 3rd in the standings, they'll face off against the 8th and 9th place teams from the RLCS in a promotion tournament. That, of course, will set the stage for RLCS and RL Rival Series Season 10. Coming down from there, we've got a number of other players that have to play in, but no matter what your standing is, you're taking home some money. All the way up at the top, we've got $13,000 for the first place team, and in 10th place, $2,000. So everybody eating. It's a nice look down here in the Rival Series. As we said, some teams will kind of jockey for position and find themselves up. Some teams will find themselves down, but everybody getting a cut of the action here. Subi, talk to me a little bit about how we've seen this season go for some of the veterans, the longtime players in our league.
Well, you know, we've seen that, hey, they can play Rocket League. They can play it at the highest level. But these new kids that are coming into the scene, they are hungry and they want it bad. And we see this across all esports. We see it across traditional sports. You get a little comfortable when you sit at the top. And it's easier for these rookie players to come in and kind of drag you down. And that's what we're seeing with We Damn Girlz. That's what we're seeing with Triple Trouble. These new guys coming into the scene, they want it so bad.
Yeah, they
Veterans
do.
will be taking the field first and foremost. Yeah, Spaceman on a tear there. We Damn Girlz is going to start us off as our first matchup of the day. They'll be going head-to-head against Notorious Legion Esports. Following that, we'll see Team BDS go against Baguette Squad as they try to find their first win. RCD Espanyol will go against Vertex, who will try to find Espanyol's first loss. And then Solary will go up against Servette Geneva Esports. That has showed some promise, but will struggle to find their footing. Kind of doing the Scooby-Doo run, but they're kind of just running in place. We're seeing them put in the action, but not getting any of the rewards. So an interesting look for our European matches today. Spaceman, anyone particular speak out to you?
Definitely. Match number 2, BDS versus Baguette. I had a chance to watch back both of their games, and we casted Baguette last week. And one of the things that stuck out between both these teams is very similar. While Baguette hasn't won a game yet, both of them put up a tremendous amount of shots per game. Like BDS averaged 10 per game, and Baguette put up 15 and 16 in game 1 and 2. So, I mean, they are not afraid to get comfortable at midfield, and I'm actually really excited to see a team that's 0-3, how are they going to continue that? And can they convert those shots into goals? And how do they go up against BDS, who has a really good opportunity to kind of pull away in the pack?
For me personally, look, I know as analysts, we all want to see the tight matches, you know, the grit and the grind. Nah, man, I want to see how many goals RCD Espanyol can score above Team Vertex. I want to see an all-out demolition derby. So I'm excited for match number 3. But we'll start the day off at the top. Let's say hello to our teams. We Dem Girlz versus Notorious Legion Esports. WDG, represented by Greasy Meister the Veteran, and Ixo and Breezy, the guys that have dominated conversation. Notorious Legion is Matean, Taz, and Cash. These guys on both sides of the field, honestly, have been rather interesting. We Dem Girlz sitting pretty right in the middle at number 5, 2-1, and Notorious Legion Esport on the other side of that, 1 and 2. Subi, I'm going to start off with you. We Dem Girlz are coming off of a bye week. Do you think that impacts them positive, negative, or not at all?
I think after their showing that we saw week 2, that they came out and got swept, which was not expected at all. I think the bye week really favors them huge coming into this one. They could really go back, look at film, kind of plan out what they need to do in this matchup going up against Notorious Legion, because if they come out like they did against RCD Espanyol, look, I know Notorious Legion is no RCD, but if they come out the same way, they're going to get punched in the mouth the exact same way. So they have to come out hot. A nice break is always good for the players, though.
That's very true. Spaceman across the way, Notorious Legion Esport. They're coming off of a loss versus Team BDS, which is the team trending up. But for the majority of fans kind of watching, these teams seem pretty close. Talk to me about Notorious Legion before we jump in.
Well, they have a lot of good components, but the biggest issue was kind of putting everything together. Like, all the puzzle pieces are there, and this really harpens back to their series last week. They lost to BDS, and they took game 1, and it was 3-2 win, but it was still close. And then they got blown out in games 2, 3, and 4. Like, it was just a complete blowout, a breakdown, as Supersonic said, on defense. So this team is really interesting because they remind me a lot of WDG in terms of each player has such individual prowess and they can put it all together, but there seems to be a defensive issue that they haven't figured out yet. Wide open nets, something that WDG has done really well at not having. So I'm really interested to see coming into this week after that blowout. Yeah, they didn't get a chance to take a day off, but can they reset and come back into this league and find success? I think they can. It's going to be difficult, though.
Week 4, game number 1 should be a nicely even matchup. We'll jump into predictions. Subi, you first.
You know, I know that Notorious Legion, they're looking hot. They're looking good. I know that they lost in the B-Stream matchup last week. It went to game 5. No glaring issues on defense or offense as far as trouble. But one thing that they're going to be staring down the barrel of is Ixo this week on We Dem Girlz. It is going to be so hard to stop him. And if you want to stop We Dem Girlz, you have to stop him. And I think this is going to be a show-up week for Ixo. I have We Dem Girlz all the way. I think they're going to win 3-1.
Spaceman, all you.
Yeah, I have We Dem Girlz as well. The biggest thing I'm looking at is the containment factor that Notorious Legion hasn't figured out yet. They triple commit a lot, and they leave a lot of space on their back end open. And when you have young rookies who like to fly on the field, and even if like you demo Ixo or Breezy and them will fall back into net. So if you're putting shots down, that's great, but you have to find a way to transition back. That's something that Notorious hasn't done yet. So I'm taking We Dem Girlz to take this.
I got to speak for well, it seems like I speak for everybody here when I say We Dem Girlz as well. WDG has just really given me the eye test. Listen, I lean on you guys for the statistics and the numbers and the deep, deep analysis. I see these rotations. I see the way these guys fly the ball. I'm really enjoying watching the storyline of kind of Greasy Meister, the veteran, talk to Ixo and Breezy and let these guys just kind of fly. And that's what we've seen so far. So all three of us going here for We Dem Girls should be interesting. Number 5 and number 7 in the standings. We'll see who breaks even game 1. It's all you guys.
Subi, I really like what F. Dot said about, the eyeball test, because in sports, I think that happens a lot. We talk about statistics and you can only read numbers so much, but when you're watching them play, it really tells the whole story, right? Do you see greatness? Do you see passion on the field? If you do, odds are this could be successful. I think that that's kind of what WDG represents. Like, the whole team has just this formula about them that I think a lot of other teams have been struggling to find. Stromboli has found it in North America, but it's something that Notorious Legion needs to take into account. You can't just lock down one player. You need to lock down all of them, or it's going to be a long series.
It definitely will. And last week against RCD Espanyol, when We Dem Girlz was playing them, Ixo showed up. I think he's going to show up regardless of who they're playing, regardless of when they're playing. But Breezy and Greasy, both were nowhere to be found. No goals the entire series. So this is going to have to change for them to win this matchup as game 1 is underway.
So one of the things that really stood out last week was how physical Notorious Legion were playing around the field. Like, they weren't afraid to go up and bump you out of net or demo and find ways to create mismatches, but you can't really find that same success against We Dem Girlz. It's pretty difficult to lock down these players, so they're going to have to at least slow the game down just a bit and keep control and containment on Ixo and Greasy. And of course, Greasy will always be in the back line to find those quick saves as they come in transition, but it's Taz underneath, and Matane will find quick goal in goal 1 of game 1.
That's a poor clear here by Greasy. No one there on that corner other than Taz. A great read from him to put it back towards midfield. And Matane there for the easy finish. And there it is, Notorious Legion up early here in game number 1.
And I think there's a bunch of different times and instances in this league where striking hot obviously is what you want to do, right? But it just doesn't happen. I think that specifically in this series, you want to strike hot. You don't want to get them out ahead early, because we've talked about We Dem Girlz' ability to, once they get a goal, they continue that relentless assault. So being able to strike early and keep them on their back foot and continue the pressure at midfield is really Notorious Legion's best chance of the series.
Oh, Ixo almost doing a week 1 again. Love those shots that he tries to pull out, coming off the opponent's back wall. And a misplay there from Taz, but Cash there for the follow-up. And one thing I noticed when they were playing last week, Greasy has to stretch for that one. And Notorious Legion doing a good job on offense here. But last week, or week 2 rather, when We Dem Girlz played and got beat in 3 games from RCD, it was simple. It was poor positioning. And I brought that up before we casted them in week 2, that, this is what they're going to have to focus on. They're going to have to work on positioning. They're going to have to work on missed touches. It's the simple things to fix. It's not glaring issues. Double commits are going to hurt them, though. That one comes out.
Yep.
Greasy there for the diving save.
One thing I am seeing, while they are committing full force, and this has been their problem for the most part, is that they triple commit like this, and sometimes they get caught off guard and you leave open nets. I think there was 4 or 5 goals last week that they had on them that were just open net misses. And here comes another shot. Cash is going to block it away. But again, that's just one of the things that worries me about this Notorious Legion squad, is they have all the pieces, but again, like we see here, they are fully committing on the pitch, and if you leave a transition opportunity open, they're going to strike, and We Dem Girlz will make you pay for it.
Breezy, nice slow play there, but loses the ball. And I'm loving the pressure we've seen in the first half from Notorious Legion. They haven't given We Dem Girlz many opportunities here in game number 1. So far, 6 shots from We Dem Girlz, 6 from Notorious Legion as well. That's a good poke. And Cash looking for demos. They're playing very aggressive here. It's just a matter of if they can keep control here in the blue half.
Yeah, Notorious Legion is notorious for getting physical. They play for demos, they play for bumps. And that's really causes a lot of their opportunities, and that demo will favor We Dem Girlz for now, as Breezy's going to carry it and flick it over to Ixo, who sends it into the corner, trying to follow up. Unfortunately, Taz will cut it off, but not until Breezy tried, but it's underneath and Breezy gets a hit up. And it's easily taken away. So again, Notorious Legion playing good defense in the net, and they're stalling out in their half for now. Breezy will send it the other way to Greasy, who intercepts the pass back to midfield. And back into the corner we go of We Dem Girlz. But again, it's just back and forth, Subi. I don't expect anything less from these two teams.
And Notorious Legion's doing a good job of midfield control, grabbing those boost pads when they can to slow down We Dem Girlz. A minute and a half to go in this game. Ixo just off that side post, and a good cut there from Breezy to keep offensive positioning. Ixo again with a dive to keep the play alive, and the shot off the side wall is good. Tie ball game, 1:13 to go.
And this is just good positioning from Ixo to read it off the back, go off the ceiling, hit it into the wall, and just find that open net, right? You don't often see a lot of players try to challenge that specific spot. You're kind of waiting for a bad bounce or a lucky draw, but at the end of the day, Ixo striking early, and you talked about it. You said he's a player to look out for this week, and this week off might have really helped him.
For them to win against Notorious Legion, for them to win against any team, Breezy and Greasy have to show up offensively. They have to get goals because you can't rely on Ixo. We know that this kid is something special. We know that we've only seen just a sliver of what we're going to for his long career. And Greasy and Breezy, they need to get some goals, and it needs to start here in game 1.
Well, for weeks 1 and 2, it was Greasy who kind of broke things open and allowed Ixo to get comfortable, but I don't think we really give enough credit to Breezy, who allows these two superstars to do what they do. He stays back on defense, and he's always there finding ways to break apart plays. And this could be a very dangerous carry, and he gets the dunk in net, and Cash is able to connect and bring it down. Even though it was 31, it doesn't matter. It does just enough. And with 20 seconds left, Subi, we're looking at a 2-1 game.
And he jumped all the way from his own box to carry that downtown in Ixo's face and slam it home. 20 seconds to go. Weedham Girls chasing 1. Breezy with the flip reset. Can't get the ball, but Greasy keeps it alive. 10 seconds remaining. This could be their last push. As the ball's in the blue half, they need to get this out now. They do. Breezy's up, but can't reach it. And Cash smartly keeps it on the ground, and Notorious Legion take game number 1.
I'm actually quite surprised with how that game went. There were so many instances where Notorious Legion had triple committed at midfield, and they left their back end completely open. So you just kind of have to tip your hat to them, right? They didn't give up too much pressure, and they were able to continue control of the ball once they got it into Weedham Girls' half. Like, they weren't giving up long booming clears, which would spell disaster completely. But again, I mean, you're looking at 6 shots, 3 shots, 2 shots for Weedham Girls, 12. I mean, that's a lot. So if the shots are there, they just weren't able to make a couple connects. But again, Notorious Legion coming out and just playing very well. Some of the issues are still there for me, which I'm worried about. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, right?
A win is a win. And when you've got Cash Money stepping up like that, it is going to be hard to slow Notorious Legion down. I mean, 1 goal, but that doesn't paint the entire picture. This guy has been all over the field, and he already has 20 saves on the season before this match even started. So you got to disrupt the flow of defense for Notorious Legion. If you're on Weedham Girls, I want to see demos in the offensive half. I want to see bumps. I want to see better midfield control. Those boost pads were about 50-50 in this matchup, and for Weedham Girls to win, when they're playing fast, that's when they're winning ball games. And to play fast, you need boost pads.
And so last week, same thing kind of happened. Notorious Legion took game 1, but in the last 4 games, they were outscored 12-3 in goal count. And of course, they dropped the series 3-1. So that's one of the things that kind of worries me going into this second game. Is yes, they were able to steal game 1, no question, but it was 2-1 again. And now you're going into game 2 and the rest of the series where those issues still linger. That triple commit is still a problem. So I'm interested to see how they adapt for Weedham Girls and how they're able to execute. But off the start, it's a save. And out to midfield, Matane can't follow it up. The Cash will center it for him, and a pass over the top bounces off the top of the crossbar. And they get a lucky break for now as Weedham Girls have to recover on defense.
That was just off the crossbar, a couple centimeters lower. That one was definitely going to be ringing home. And Matane, nice double tap off the ceiling there, and a good challenge from Cash. They've got numbers. The shot placement is there, and Taz wants to give Notorious Legion the early lead.
And this is just a good play off the ceiling. Sends it down, pinches a player out, and Taz is basically wide open. I mean, it's like shooting a wide open 3 in the corner. It's perfect. So they take a 1-goal lead to start game 2, and again, they're off to a hot start. Can they continue it? They could make us look dumb with our predictions, and that's a bump into the net and a dunk from Cash. Subi, I mean, this team looks completely different than week 2.
Absolutely beautiful air carry, and then gets the bump on Greasy. I don't think it mattered. He had that one in the goal 100%. Notorious Legion rolling downhill right now, and it's looking hard to stop him.
Now, off the start, what are you seeing from Weedham Girlz? I mean, in the previous play, it kind of seemed like they weren't challenging a lot of these carries. Do you think they just need to get more aggressive, or are they kind of waiting for an opportunity?
I think it boils down to their positioning. They're not challenging early enough. They're not being aggressive, and it's giving Notorious Legion a lot of space to work with. You see right there, good challenge from Breezy, leaves that ball in midfield, but no follow-up. Cash is there to easily poke it back in, so they're trying to go back for boost too much. They need to just focus on keeping good positioning so these shots and passes can't come out from Notorious Legion.
And it's also, again, good to harp on this point that Notorious Legion puts up a ton of shots in general. I mean, they didn't necessarily in game one, but last week they put up 15 and then 16 respectively. Like, they are not afraid to get in your face. It was just defensive issues that kept them out of the win column. So they're going to come after you. You have to be able to respond. But for now, it's going to be Ixo who sends it the other way into the corner. Now he gets a flick off, but Cash will immediately push it back to midfield. That's a good demo, but Greasy is there in the back line, setting it up for Breezy, who doesn't get the final touch, but no worries, Ixo on the ceiling will push it forward.
And see that touch from Ixo right there. He had Greasy in the center of the field, top of the box. No defenders were in sight. So I'd like to see a pass come off that back wall. And I know it's difficult to do, but in the rival series, these are plays that you're going to have to create yourself. Instead of just hitting the ball to the side wall time and time again, you've got to try and hit your teammate so you can run a transition offense.
Even when you're down 2 goals, you know? So it's difficult. You have to find ways to create opportunities. And the problem is when you start carrying it towards the corner, that just gives more room for Notorious Legion to move up, steal it away, and force you back on defense. But Cash slows it down on the wall, now flicks it over one defender, won't get it over Breezy. Into the corner again, Mitane off the ceiling, passes it forward to Cash. You could see the play develop, but it didn't execute the way they wanted. Now it's kind of stuck in Notorious Legion's half as Greasy gets a bump down, and Mitane will clear it back to midfield. But still, I mean, they're burning time, and now you're looking at 2 minutes for Weedham Girlz to make something happen, and here comes a pass opportunity. That's an open net and an open goal. They now have 3 goals in game 2.
And Cash has 3 goals in the series, all to himself, and just a poor challenge off that back wall. Gonna lead to the 3rd goal, like you were saying, for Notorious Legion. Right now, Weedham Girlz have a ton to fix, and not a lot of time to do it in.
They look, Weedham Girlz looks incredibly slow today, and we usually think that a week off will help them fix errors and they don't miss a step, but it's often the other case, right? There are often times where teams do miss a step, and another shot for the left side of the goal wasn't going to fall, but I don't know, they just look kind of slow. They're losing some of these boost steals, and they're falling back on defense, and again, they haven't set up a lot of passing opportunities. It's really just been containment. They've been trying to control the ball and quarantine Notorious Legion at midfield, but it hasn't worked. And Cash has punished them with 3 straight goals. So again,
good bump there from Greasy.
Stuck in the corner for Notorious Legion. That's going to go off the back of the wall. Will anyone follow up? No. Cash would have been there to save it regardless. And Ixo flies over the top. And he's trying to slow it down. Oh, it might have been an own goal. I think Cash punched it through. Ixo carried it to the front of the goal line, and Cash might have gotten the last tap.
Oh, that's just you hate those bounces as a defender. So hard to read. Sometimes it's going to roll up the side of the wall. Sometimes it's going to kick out just like it did. And the defender chose to read it going up. Instead, it goes out. And Weedham Girlz get their first one here in game number 2.
That's so difficult when they're slowing it down. And you're not really sure where it's going to fall. But here comes Breezy. He sent it to the backboard. Ixo, I believe, got a soft touch on the side of the wall, and that's a booming hit to the back. This could be a follow-up. Tried to waterfall it. It's not going to work, but they've burned enough time. 36 seconds and counting. Still a 2-goal game. Entirely possible, but probably not. And another demo will come in favor of Weedham Girlz, but how do they elect to follow it up? It's intercepted by Mitane in the air and still stifled out into the corner. And Notorious Legion have just done a good job of closing this game out.
Yeah, they've just played smartly. They've countered Weedham Girlz' play perfectly. They're kind of saying, hey, we realize that you guys are out of position. We realize you guys are double committing from time to time, and we're just going to outsmart you in this scenario. Greasy with a last-second shot off target. Matane with the save, and game 2 in favor of Notorious Legion. GG's all around, but right now, Weedham Girlz going to have to pull out the reverse sweep. They'll be facing 2-2 in the rival series.
Weedham Girlz only had 3 shots in game 2 compared to 11 of Notorious Legion. So the differential is already bad enough.
Right.
But
well, I mean, this is indicative of their entire season. Weedham Girlz, they are actually last place as far as total shots go, which is crazy to me. It just doesn't seem right. But somehow this team is in last place for total shots.
Yeah. And I think one of the big tellers here is 1 save for Cash, 1 save for Matane, 3 saves for Greasy, 1 for Breezy, and 2 for Ixo. They've been forced on defense with no ability to fly back in transition, 0 assists entirely for Weedham Girlz. And now we're looking at a situation where we talk about week 4 being the week of personality. We've already seen weeks 1, 2, and 3 go by, and it's about finding your footing. Is everything working? Is it just luck? Are we really this good? Personality is now the big factor for most of these teams. Are your difficulties going to stay there? Weedham Girlz have the ability to manhandle people individually, but as a team, we've had question marks. And now we're kind of seeing that, whereas Notorious Legion had question marks as the ability of individuals of not overcommitting, and now they're fixing them, and we're seeing a complete blowout of Weedham Girlz. I mean, it's not been close, Subi.
It really hasn't, and the storyline has been Cash, and I think that's been the storyline every time we've watched Notorious Legion. Cash just seems to do crazy stuff up and down the field. He's just one of those players that's a Swiss Army knife. He just does whatever his team needs.
It's really been Matane kind of playing off the ceiling and setting up opportunities for Cash. But we don't even talk about Taz that much because they usually leave him as a third man back on defense when they have to rotate. Their biggest problem, again, was overcommitting, but he hasn't had too much trouble just kind of sitting back and intercepting these passes. And now he gets himself involved in the corner, and that ball is going to be dribbled away, flicked over by Greasy, and intercepted by Cash. Again, they put pressure in midfield, and now is an opportunity centered out for a player, but Greasy Meister was kind of sitting in the back line, and he tried to follow up, had no boost to work with, and now we're stuck in the front of the box.
That was a great touch there from Cash. Good bump from Breezy, and Ixo finishes it off. Good angle here. Good aggressive play from Weedham Girlz, and they get the first one here in game number 3.
Yeah, it's clear that Weedham Girlz is not going to outperform as a team against Notorious Legion, so their biggest advantage is just individual mechanics. You have to play one-on-one in the box if you can, and that's really where having an X-Factor like Ixo comes in handy. Off the ceiling, Greasy Meister wasn't able to extend it forward, but it's Breezy who centers it out. Breezy will not get the touch as Matane intercepts up to Taz, Cash now waiting, and Ixo will carry it off the back wall and flick it towards back midfield. As Matane intercepts, almost dunked it down. But again, we're looking at a situation where the pressure is all in Weedham Girlz' half as they finally find some room to work with. And back the other way as Cash will carry by himself.
Dangerous ball, Matane's up, the shot's there, and Breezy's awkward on that wall. Great shot placement coming out from Taz. Seeing Breezy on that right post going back and forth, trying to keep himself stuck to it, and he puts it left side.
Such a great pass to Taz off the wall, and it's just good centering all around. And that's what this team does. They put so many shots on net. It's like watching a goalie trying to constantly watch out for players flying down the wing. It's almost impossible to stop it sometimes. And that's going to be Taz carrying over, so the third man now in the front lines for those initials.
Oh, awkward
so
ball here.
Underneath. Notorious Legion will grab that all day, every day. Is they're going to carry it? No flick over Greasy, but Matane follows up off the redirect. And it's stalled out for now before Ixo hits it into the corner. Ixo now following. It's not going to connect. Back to midfield. And Ixo and Breezy should work in tandem here off the side of the wall, and they will. Ixo now carrying towards the front of the goal line, but it's Taz who knocks it away, and that third man comes in clutch.
And we've almost hit 30 minutes of gameplay with Breezy and Greasy without a goal. 30 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, Greasy was the guy who stepped up in week 1 and 2, leading the way for EXO to open things up. And Breezy was kind of just there. He was playing great defense. He didn't really have to do much. And now we're looking at a situation where you're tied up, series on the line. This has been a very quick 3-0 if it's going to lead there, and you still haven't found a way to score.
Uh-oh, double commit for Notorious Legion. Opportunity here, and Breezy can't get the touch. He had EXO waiting. Great clear towards midfield from Matane, and another 50-50 there. Good pressure here, but opportunity for We Dem Girlz as Greasy catches that on the side wall. Wave dash flick, and the net was open, but no teammate available, and Notorious Legion hang on.
That was just a rough miss. And Cash missed a hit in the net, and that led to that entire opportunity unfolding. But in transition is Notorious Legion. Let's see what they're able to do. So that's going to go off the wall. I don't think anyone's going to get centered for it, as Breezy will take it away, no problem. Now Taz going to be following in pursuit, as Matane was kind of sitting in midfield, and you could expect the bounce he was predicting. And centers it up for a teammate. That's kind of dangerous, though. Zeeks is going to send it into the corner, but Taz will clear it away. That bump doesn't help. Oh, it's just off the crossbar. And Greasy Meister slows it down. Taz steals it again. These intercepts from Notorious Legion have really kept We Dem Girlz off the scoreboard.
We Dem Girlz looking for one here. Greasy, not enough speed behind his car there to follow up with a shot. And Cash, this is a dangerous ball towards midfield, but he does a good job of pushing through, following his shot, and carrying that momentum through the ball.
Still in control of Notorious Legion. Cash misses the hit off the back wall, no problem. Taz will be there. Now EXO following. Is anyone centered? No. And it's these individual hits that don't set up for, passes that kind of punish We Dem Girlz. They need to start creating some pressure as a team in the box. Yes, your individual skill is great, but that's what's kept you out of winning a game in this series, is just your inability to find team pressure.
And I don't think we've seen one infield pass from We Dem Girlz this entire series.
Other than a couple of clearing plays, there has been really no passing opportunity. It's been all individual carries off the ceiling.
Oh, that's a dirty flick from Greasy. Greasy!
Oh, God, if he made that work, I'm pretty sure we would have lost connection with our monitors real quick. But into overtime we go, into game 3. And this one's still in We Dem Girlz half. But again, Breezy's going to sit there all day, every day. He's going to find that. But Matane cutting it off in midfield, it's going to force Greasy to come out of the box. And that double commit usually will punish. But for now, We Dem Girlz stave off this push. As it's up for Cash to handle, and he does. Greasy Meister flicks it over a player. Taz now. Matane's in net.
He hit him into the ball.
I was going to bump him out of the way for a second. And again, Notorious Legion are known for getting physical on the pitch. They will bump you and demo you out of your own net to create a number disadvantage in a power play. And Matane again, going to bump EXO out. Here comes a follow-up from Cash. A bit timid. And allows Greasy to clear it out to midfield. So an opportunity, yes. Execution, no.
Oh, and Breezy's up. This is going to be dangerous. There's EXO looking for the bump, trying to repay the favor. But Greasy keeps this ball alive. Taz going to leave it for Cash. I love the comms coming out from Notorious Legion here in overtime. Dangerous shot. Almost going under Breezy, but good D from We Dem Girlz.
It almost seems like We Dem Girlz is preventing the waterfall that is Notorious Legion. Like, they're trying to put their hands in front of the faucet and keep water back. But they just haven't been able to find a way to close off that pressure. And that demo will give them numbers for now. Forget what I said. They're back to full force. And still almost 2 minutes into overtime. And it's been all of Notorious Legion, but here comes a pass. Matane over the top. That's going to bounce off EXO. And it should be handled by Breezy, but Cash can cut it off. I don't think he got a touch. Taz now. Again,
EXO was up last year for that challenge.
They have to be careful triple committing, Subi. I mean, the amount of times we've seen Notorious Legion send full numbers on these balls has been dangerous.
Oh, they had the opportunity, but the shot just wasn't made. And Taz looking to put another shot on target. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
And they're just keeping the pressure up right now. Yeah, and they're getting boost steals. They've gotten both corners here, and Ixo, Greasy, Breezy, all low on boost here, trying to get out of their own zone.
The only thing that scares me, again, is just these commits. Sending 3 players after. I'm worried about a transitional clear that could really affect Notorious Legion, but Girlz again controlling midfield, able to stay away out of their box. Now here comes an opportunity. Breezy's going to go off the sidewall. Greasy has to fall back for a boost. Ixo has no chance of going after this, but now he will follow up. But it's taken away by Cash. And again, these individual hits really aren't favoring Girlz. Here comes a follow-up from Breezy, and it's sent away. Back to midfield we go.
Notorious Legion's been doing a fantastic job. You got me excited there. I heard you.
I saw it. I saw it. I was like, oh, it's good.
Notorious Legion's doing a good job, though, of those mid-air 50-50s. They've won almost every single one. They've been following through perfectly.
They've been able to negate some of these defensive issues with the amount of challenges and intercepts they've won. So, again, just good job of them, just recognizing some mistakes from last season, or excuse me, last week, and finding a way to change that in a week's time, which is not easy. Here comes a carry from Matane. And Ixo takes it away. Up to the ceiling. Now down for Cash. Cash with the shot. Oh, that could be it. Oh! Yes! And that
he did it to him.
That was just a wicked shot.
You hate to see it, but look at Breezy and Greasy holding hands on defense, scared of the offense coming out from Notorious Legion, and they make them pay.
That was, I mean, you possibly it bounces off the post and gets back to the corner, but I mean, that was just a wicked shot. You have no chance but to actually go and challenge it. And they do, and it just bumps in. And again, we talked about, thank you, Matane, for the kind words, you beautiful man. And we talked about just the ability of Notorious Legion. Yes, there are defensive issues, but they put this relentless pressure on you. I mean, the amount of shots we saw was ridiculous in overtime, and they continue to find ways to take out Ixo, Breezy. Greasy Meister really had nothing to do in overtime. He had 2 saves, but he had no shots. He couldn't do anything. And I really just I am so pleasantly surprised. I have to tip my hat to Notorious Legion for fixing some of these mistakes in such short time. I mean, they took out a powerhouse of a squad, and now we have to look at Girlz and think, hey, what's going on here? I mean, what we thought was Stromboli of Europe is now middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, it's not time for Girlz to pull the fire alarm. Not just yet.
No.
Yes.
No.
That's 2 sweeps in a row. It is worrisome, but not enough to panic. Not just yet, but Notorious Legion came out and they did everything they needed to do. And I think the game plan for all teams that are going to be facing Girlz at this point moving forward, hey, we said weeks 1 and 2, like, hey, if you're facing Girlz, you got to close out Ixo. Now we realize, let him do whatever he wants to do, because Breezy and Greasy have to show up for this team to win.
Yeah, and I think that we're starting to see teams neutralize Breezy and Greasy Meister because they realize that Greasy Meister kind of sets up a lot of these plays for Ixo to get comfortable. And Breezy really isn't, no offense to him, but he's not really a factor in a lot of these plays. He's usually just the third man back, which is all he's had to be. And now we're looking at Girlz and saying the personality of this team has been individuals riding success to the finish line. And that's what's kept them in a lot of these series. But as a team collective, how really good are they? I mean, are we looking at a situation where it's really just been one player after another stepping up when we need them to, but when it comes down to crunch time, Notorious Legion were the better team today by far?
Absolutely. And we just got to see a sweep, and all of us on the desk made look silly because, hey, we predicted Girlz, but let's see if all of us can get it right next time, because we have another one that's going to be fun to watch on our hands. It's going to be Team BDS going up against Baguette Squad. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
But you're hiding something that don't feel right. You know, like I know sometimes I can say the wrong thing. You won't get nowhere without responding. You know life is better when we just talk. When we just talk, let's talk. Better when we just talk. Just talk. Better when we just talk. Better when we just talk. Just talk. Better when we just talk. Just talk. You know better when we just talk. Let's talk. You say that you're cool and that it's alright, but you're hiding something that don't feel right. You know life is better when we just talk. When we just talk, let's talk. Can we If you wanna have it, then it's yours. Put your mind to it, open doors. Yeah, you might wanna get a fast track, but you can't just piggyback. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger.
A 3-0. Your boys in NLE. Dignitas and TSM know how it feels. And now we them girls know how it feels. Tom Badger here hosting the desk as I'm joined here by Subi and Spaceman one more time. Boys, that was not the way we thought, but perhaps just as much of a thrashing. Subi, talk to me about what you saw there in that match.
Well, I saw a team come out and just look flat, to be honest, and another team saw it as well and took advantage of it. Notorious Legion were all over the field. Midfield was there, and we them girls couldn't do anything. They had nothing to say about it.
Spaceman, that one looked kind of rough. We all got our predictions wrong. What do you think? We heard Subi say that we them girls felt kind of flat. Why do you think that was the case?
I think it's just, again, the personalities of these teams. Now we've reached the middle part of the road for this season. We're seeing who's going to make adjustments week to week. I think, honestly, that bye week kind of hurt Weedham Girlz. Maybe they got a little bit comfortable. I didn't really see them change up their gameplay at all, but Notorious Legion completely changed some of their mistakes from last week. And that's again, the teams who recognize the mistake early, want it more, and they're fighting for that middle of the pack. Weedham Girlz has kind of ridden their individual talent through the most of the season, and now we're reaching a point where that can only carry you so far. And I'm just really, really impressed with Notorious Legion and how well they were able to adapt.
Got to agree with that one. That's always what we like to see. Don't forget, this is the rival series. You're allowed to make mistakes here as long as you fix them. We're looking at you, Weedham Girlz, and we hope that week 5 will be a little bit different. Moving into our next matchup, it is Baguette versus Team BDS. Team BDS is ClayX, Mark by 8, and Monkey Moon. Baguette squad will be repped by Swoopin, Rizual, and Yukis. Those 3 guys have yet to find a win. Team BDS, though, they're on the way up. Talk to me a little bit, Subi, about what makes Team BDS so special.
You know, it's got to be Monkey Moon. He's been one of my favorite players for the last 3 seasons of Rival Series. This guy comes out, and he's one of the high flyers. You never know what you're going to see from him. And defense, he's been insane. He has 30 saves on the season, which is nutty. Last season he had 70, and then he's got the goals to match. If you want to stop this BDS team, you got to stop Monkey Moon. But then you're looking at ClayX and Mark by 8. So I don't know. Good luck, Baguette squad.
Baguette squad going to need it. They're all the way down at number 10 of 10. 0 wins so far in season 9. Spaceman, what's wrong with the bread?
It's honestly, some of the accuracy on their shots is lacking. Like last week, they put up 15 shots in game 1. They lost in game 5 to Vertex. So, they brought it the distance, which is great. It builds character, it builds rep. But at the end of the day, you have to commit on some of these shots. So if you're putting up 15 and 16 shots alike in games 1 and 2, and you're only getting 1 or 2 goals out of it, accuracy and passing opportunities are where you need to look. But they're also not executing when it comes to bumping players out. Like Notorious Legion, we talked about, they're very physical. BDS is one of those teams where they will get in your face with shots. Mark by 8 and Monkey Moon had 4 goals and 3 goals apiece in game 3 last week. So Baguette squad needs to neutralize some of these players. They need to find a way to create mismatches on the pitch in the boxes, because you can continue to put down shots, but you have to find a way to make those count.
Accuracy. Got to get him right. Something we didn't do last time around. Boys, let's fix it. Prediction time. Subi, again, you get to lead us into the fray.
Oh, wonderful. I get to disappoint everyone once again. Let's just make it short and sweet. When you've got a team that haven't won a series all season long, getting tongue twisted today, it's going to be hard to pick them. And with the issues I saw last week that they played, it wasn't terrible. They did get to game 5 against Team Vertex, but Team Vertex was shooting the lights out, and you got to do something to stop it, and they couldn't. And I think the same is going to be the same story this week, and Team BDS is going to get the win here.
Spaceman?
I really want to see Baguette find themselves a win. But again, I have to go with BDS. And I think the big reason is watching their matches prior to last week and the week before. They score quickly and they continue it. Like, they don't burn time. BDS is not known as a team that will go for booming clears to get you out of the play. They will find ways to score relentlessly over and over and over again. And the problem is that when you're constantly playing off the back foot, you don't create chemistry or even momentum at the line of scrimmage. So I'm really looking at BDS to continue that. I didn't see a whole lot of mistakes from them, other than some transitional issues. But other than that, they made up for it with goals. They had issues, but they're able to outscore their mistakes, and I see them taking it as well.
Again, I'm going to go for the simple answer I did in match number 1, and it was wrong. I think it's going to be right this time. I go Team BDS simply because, and no shade at all, Baguette has never won a match. I don't know what to say there. They're 0-3. I'm not putting my money there. It's just not how my roulette wheel works. So looking at this one, Team BDS, I'm going to take them for a spin. Again, commentator tic-tac-toe. We'll see if we get it right this time. I think the spread a little bit different Match number 2, Team BDS, Mark by 8, Clayx, and Monkey Moon. They're going to be taking on Swoopin, Yukis, and Rizwal, otherwise known as Baguette Squad, Subi, and Spaceman. You guys have the call. Good luck.
So Subi, of course, we saw Baguette versus Vertex go to Game 5 last week, and it was close, but it ended, I believe, 2-1. And now we're looking at BDS, who they kind of had issues that Notorious Legion had when they played each other last week, where some triple commits that were questionable, some transitional numbers that were questionable. But at the end of the day, those mistakes weren't counted for because they were outscoring their mistakes. I mean, they would put up 4, 5, 6 goals in a minute so they could have room to work with. And this is a situation where Baguette, you can't give them room because you can't match that scoring. I'm really kind of worried about how Baguette's defense will hold up.
It's going to be a rough one for sure because I think Team BDS is a better team than Team Vertex.
Me too.
I mean, we'll see that as the season progresses further and further. But yeah, Baguette Squad has their work cut out for them here. Both these teams were in the rival series last season. Both these teams retained their spot. Both these teams retained all 3 players, and they both ended 5-4. But Team BDS started this season a lot hotter.
I think at the end of the season, I should get, well, that's going to be open goal as Yukis gets a pass forward and he's going to get the first goal of the game. And I was going to say, I think I should get a shirt that says strike hot and strike early and just wear it every time I cast Rocket League, because that's exactly what all of these teams who come in as the underdog need to do to start games off. I mean, you have to score in the first minute. And look at that. Already, Baguette doing that.
Yeah, and just a complete breakdown from the defense for Team BDS. Good demo from Rizwal, and Yukis puts it up the side wall. Team BDS looking a little slow here, the start of game number 1, but I don't expect it to last long. This is definitely a team that takes a little time to warm up, but once they get hot, It is so hard to cool them off.
Yeah, speaking of warming up, it was about controlling the pace when they were pushed back. That's one of the things that Supersonic harped on about their performance last week. And like I said, it takes a little bit of time for them to get warmed up, and once they do, they control the pace so well. Goal from Monkey Moon off the redirect up. A mistake from Baguette Squad costs them, and it's now tied 1-1.
Yeah, it looks like a double commit coming out from them there.
Yep.
And it was just an easy putback for Monkey Moon. Easy shot from him. Smart bump from Mark by 8 there.
Oh, this could be a second
beat
goal.
That ball. And another double commit coming out from Baguette Squad. This could be worrisome going up against Team BDS.
I believe it was Yukis who, off the faceoff, cheated over for boost just a little bit, and that left the ball wide open at midfield. And an uncharacteristic miss by Clayx will send the ball the other way, and Mark by 8 cuts it off. But still, you have plenty of time. But some issues rearing their ugly heads off the start for Baguette. On the other side, Monkey Moon carrying. Taken away, Mark by 8 with the redirect, but he won't get it to land. And it's immediately taken at the goal line by Baguette Squad as Swoopin carries it out towards midfield.
Oh, Mark with the backwards bump on Rizwal, but his teammates were not expecting him to make contact there, but they do maintain pressure here as Clayx doesn't get the touch there. And a good touch here coming out from Rizwal to put it to the side wall after the whiff coming out from his teammate.
And that's going to be up for Yukis. Clayx cuts it off. Rizwal on the other side. And now Clayx will push this one forward, extending into the corner before Swoopin comes in, takes it away. A demo in favor of BDS. But again, they slow it down. And now they're kind of working the waters. They're seeing what's hot, what's not. How much can they push? Clayx pushes it back to midfield. That's up for Mark by 8. And it's going to come waterfalling down. A good save by Yukis at the goal line. But again, just the pressure from BDS has been a lot to handle. And Baguette have not done a good job of transitioning out. But here comes an opportunity.
Oh, nice try there from Yukis on that redirect. And a good pass from Rizwal over to the side wall. Baguette Squad have numbers, but the booming clear from Monkey Moon to give him space clears all that pressure downfield, and back and forth these teams go. That shot just wide. And Team BDS trying to get those passing plays developing, but Baguette Squad has done a great job of cutting them off.
And net zero on those booming clears, but one of the things you talked about last series with Weedham Girlz is they're setting up some of these passes kind of on the corners. They're not really pushing it downfield. And that's kind of what I'm seeing off the start from Baguette. They get some of these opportunities in transition, but they push the ball down instead of working the ceiling and pinching it off. And sometimes that works. Most of the time it really doesn't.
Oh, Clay X doing a little break dance there, and Monkey Moon misses the ball. The net was there. No defender present. Love another shot at that one, but this ball game remains tied as we hit a minute and 20 to go here in game number 1. Can Baguette squad hang on, or is Team BDS just going to keep pushing them around?
Well, Baguette's playing great defense and a good stuff. We'll set it up for Clay X to try this again. And that's going to go off the corner. Here comes Mark by 8 in pursuit. He gets a center, but this looks like a little too far out ahead. It was. Yukas now carrying. And he knocks it towards midfield before Monkey Moon sends it the other way.
And right now, shot totals are 6. Oh, that's an easy one for Monkey Moon. Yukas had to respect Clay X up on this back wall. You see him check his rearview mirror and say, oh, I see you. Nope, that's Monkey Moon. And just like that, Team BDS up by 1.
It's situations like this, Subi, where it's going to go one of two ways. You're either going to have consistent shots that are at one point or another going to fall down and you're going to get a goal, or you're going to try over and over again and not connect, and then a transitional attack from Baguette will lead to a goal. It was just basically waiting to see which one was going to come first. Unfortunately for Baguette, they weren't able to stave off that push just enough. And they get punished for it, and now they're down by 1 with 25 seconds, still plenty of time. Rizwul tried to flick it over. No one was there, though. Swoopin was on the left side, but they recover nicely. And into the corner before Monkey Moon slows it down. A big demo from Yukas, and now Rizwul carry. He flicks it over 1, but no, Swoopin's at midfield, Subi, and that's a goal from Rizwul. A good read to slow it down, return back in action, find the ball, and punch it through.
It's 2 hits on the ball in the box, forces Clay X to jump and just puts the shot right over them. I love the pressure there, and the fact that Rizwul refused to rotate out ties this ball game up. But here comes BDS. The pass off that side wall. Rizwul booms it downfield, and a good clear there from Clay X to give space, but this one's still alive. Rizwul's waiting, Rizwul's lurking, puts the shot up high, and no double tap is there, and we go into overtime.
I thought for a second that was about to be a huge mistake, but both predictions were right. At one point, that shot's going to fall. The other point, transition's going to work. But here comes Clay X with a carry and a final save from Swoopin. Will keep game number 1 continued. As Mark by 8 now. Following underneath. One missed hit, and that, I thought that was an open net. I could not see Swoopin behind that ball, but again, another save from Baguette.
Oh,
and
no!
Off the back wall. It's getting dangerous, Subi. You could feel it. You could feel a goal coming.
And all it's going to take is a mistake, a bump there, but Yukas repositions his car. The angled shot from Mark by 8, just a little too close. And Clay X, the passing play's coming out. Mark by 8 tries to put it in, and Monkey Moon finishes it. Game number 2 going in favor of Team BDS. That's
again, it's okay. I thought first I was like, wait, we already got through game 1. Holy cow. But again, that's one of those things where we said it in the pregame. We said that BDS, while they do have some issues when it comes to pacing at midfield, they put shots down and they find ways to score to out-correct those mistakes. 3 goals by Monkey Moon. Another hat trick. He had a hat trick last week in game 3. He has a hat trick in game 1. 7 shots, Subi. 7 shots. I mean, you can't ask for more than that.
And 3 for 7. I mean, that's around 46% something.
I mean, it doesn't look impressive, but it is.
It is very impressive. I mean, this guy is so consistent. Last season in Rival Series, he shot 23.7%. This season, he's shooting 22.5%. And if he continues to put on a performance like he did here in game 1, his percentage is just going to increase just exponentially after this game.
Yeah, no, this team is like a frequency distribution chart. Like they just find ways to keep going up and down, but those down times are them recovering on defense, and the upswings are 4 or 5 goals. And I think they average at least 3 or 4 goals a game, which is ridiculous to say the least, which just means they're creating mismatches. They're finding ways to score even when you try to stop them. And that's, again, where Baguette need to come out and neutralize players. You need to neutralize Monkey Moon when he comes for follow-up shots off the back wall. You need to neutralize Mark Baguette playing at the corner and stealing boost. And Clayax is setting up passing opportunities. These are things that need to start happening. But again, good defense from Baguette squad. It wasn't enough. We went to overtime. Good signs from them. They pushed it to Game 5 last week against Vertex. Still worried about their chances here.
Well, and you called it out. Great defense from Baguette squad, and there's got to be a silver lining to that defeat that they just put through in game number 1. But
there's always a silver lining
up
when it goes to overtime.
Right, absolutely, especially against one of the better teams in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this one's dangerous. That net's open. ClayX trying to look for a defender, but I wanted to bring up Ridgewell. And I was going to before the series, but I wanted to wait to see what he brought in game 1. And the reason I wanted to wait is this guy's shooting 3.6% on the season. Terrible. Horrendous.
Not good.
1 goal for the entire season. Just not good by any stretch of the imagination. And he was the one that got a goal there in game number 1 to tie up the series. So for me, hey, this kid's coming out here in week 4 and completely turning things around just in game 1 alone.
Yeah, and I think you just argue production has been Baguette's biggest problem. It's not really been defense, it's just been production. They haven't been able to match their opponents in scoring, and clearly that's reflected in their placement in the league, but their defense has been relatively good. It's just been finding ways to score. They haven't been able to do it. And when you come into the midseason of Rivals, you need to find ways. And back to midfield we go. Monkey Moon will take control of that one. It's going to go off the back board. Never mind. It was off the ceiling and marked by 8. Again, controlling boost will steal that one. And they've kept Baguette in their half. That's a demo, and they've controlled the boost. And now Rizul is forced to play a one-on-one with 3 players. It's not going to work this time. Here comes Yukis. No follow-up shot into the sidewall, and back to midfield we go in favor of BDS.
Flip reset and gets
shot.
it, but marked by 8. Can't get the follow-up. Great individual scales there from ClayX. Just couldn't get the final touch.
He might have had the goal without the flip reset. But at the end of the day, I mean, how many times can I say it? At some point, that shot's going to land. A big demo in net by Swoopin. But no follow-up from Baguette squad. That's going to be off to the corner, no problem. Monkey Moon will slow it down. He's going to grab it over one defender. Now set it up for Mark by 8, who could punch it in. No. Just a bad angle and a bad center, but no worries, ClayX is there.
And he does get that boost steal. And just to bring the conversation back to what we were talking about at the start of the game, as far as goals are concerned, goals for a team, goals per game, Team BDS second in the league right now, just behind Triple Trouble. They're getting about 2.4 a game. So you gotta tip your hat to Baguette squad, limiting them to 2 goals, taking it to overtime, and then losing by obviously 3. I mean, they're facing one of the best offenses in the league, and they're holding their own.
Yeah, and I wasn't too off when I said I think they're averaging like 3-4 was a bit of a stretch, but the biggest thing was, I mean, when we're talking about, wins that are average of 2.4 goals or per game, I mean, these were wins that were either 2-1, 3-1. We had a game that was 7-1, 6-1, 4-1. I mean, these guys score at will. So over time, yeah, it only seems like they only have 2 goals per game, but they're beating players down and they're beating teams so relentlessly that it's hard to find reads on balls.
Visual was not expecting. Oh my goodness,
shot.
I wasn't expecting that, as Visual comes down from the sky and gives the lead to Baguette squad.
That was such a good shot.
Oh,
That might be one of the best shots we've seen this season.
that was
the wherewithal to have that kind of presence on the ceiling. And another shot. Baguette squad finally woke up off an incredible play. And we said Rizul, right? We were like, where is he? Where's he going to wake up? All of a sudden, bang. Just, wow, that was incredible.
And we saw in game 1, Team BDS barely holding on to a kickoff, preventing a goal, and they get punished for it as they sent one cheating up, got a little too aggressive, and Baguette squad easily able to put that one in. Now Team BDS looking for 2 goals as we near 1 minute to go here in game 2.
It's great individual plays from Baguette squad that have created this lead. Here comes a shot right over defender. Oh, it's off the top of the post. No! It gets sent away. Mark Baguette gains control for now. No one's going to challenge.
Okay.
He sends it down. And a dunk? Looking at a 1-goal game, Subi.
Okay, we see you, Mark. A nice scoop there off the ceiling. Gets a double tap. Goes off the backboard. That's 3 touches in 1 possession coming out from the Sherpa of Team BDS.
51 seconds, plenty of time. We could be looking at another overtime for game 2. As Monkey Moon will elect to back off. Didn't have boost. Clay X now centering for Monkey Moon on the sidewall. And Monkey Moon was expecting a pass towards midfield. It didn't come. No worries there. Mark Baguette again with a center.
Pass.
Monkey Moon with a redirect. Oh my god. What a great redirect. And you have to, again, tip your hat to Mark Baguette for setting up this play. And again, Monkey Moon finding a way off the bumper to push it towards the top shelf.
That is not an easy shot at all. He cuts through the defense, goes for almost a cross-body shot. But you said it, Spaceman. The setup was perfect from Mark, and Monkey Moon gets his 5th goal of the series.
He had 7 goals last week in a 3-1 win. Now he comes in, and he finds the net twice in game 2. Again, this team, they have mistakes, yes, but their ability to score at will is so detrimental to so many teams. It's so hard to come back from that.
Scoring at will is the storyline. They scored 3 goals in almost a minute. I mean, that is ridiculous.
It's demoralizing for Baguette. I mean, you're on the clutches of your first, obviously, game win in the series, but you could be looking at a possibility of going up 2-1 if you're able to take game 3. You're in a good position. All the momentum's on your side. You stun them 2-0. And now we're looking at a 3-2 win in a minute. Like, it's demoralizing. It's so demoralizing. Now you're down 2-0 in what could have been a 1-1 series. We could be looking at another hot 3-0.
And again, the accuracy coming out from Team BDS is astounding. 20% there from Monkey Moon, 25% from Mark Baguette. These guys are shooting the lights out. And Baguette squad, they faced the same thing last week going up against Team Vertex. I talked about it in the pre-show that Team Vertex was shooting the lights out and they were passing very well. And I think that's the only reason that they lost. But Team BDS is doing the exact same thing. So maybe the storyline, instead of going up against teams that are just red hot shooting the lights out, it's Baguette squad is just giving too much space to these offenses to work with.
And I think it's a testament to just how well BDS plays as a team. Like, there was a minute left. And they scored 3 goals. Of course, scoring at will doesn't mean, you go down. People are like, oh, they were down 2-0. Like, they couldn't find a way to score then. It doesn't matter. You were down a minute and they scored 3 goals. They basically had their way with all of Baguette. And Baguette isn't by any stretch a bad team. They have so many puzzle pieces that they put together. They have such great potential. Their biggest issue has been accuracy and committing on plays and winning challenges in goal line. When they get pushed back on defense, they crumble very easily. They play great defense throughout the entire game, but they crumble after a while. And the problem is that you can crumble, sure, but you have to be able to transition on offense and find ways to create opportunities. They haven't been able to do it. Everyone's been relatively quiet. Of course, Rizul had a goal, and it was impressive nonetheless. But it just, after a while, dude, you can only hold back that water so long.
Yeah, Mark Baguette looking for a double. Good call off there from Clay, but unfortunately a little too wide. Was looking for the upper 90, and it was not found. Good defense there from Monkey Moon. Infield pass, but the shot too high, and numbers advantage coming down for Team BDS. Rizul, good defense there to avoid that bump, get a touch on the ball, give his teammates space, and push this ball back into the blue half.
On transition is BDS, but again, we see Yukis slowing it down. Rizul will be 3rd man back. He centers it, or I should say passes it forward for Swoopin, who gets the demo. And they should be able to control this for now, Subi, as they push it forward. Never mind, another demo will come out. Oh, God, I thought that was going to be a booming hit, but Swoopin slows it down. A shot
Double.
opportunity for a follow-up. Yes. Yes. Ukis. Welcome to Game 3, sir. We've been looking for you.
Great pass downfield, just puts it on a dime for Ukis, and Ukis shows his mechanics there as he puts it up on the back wall and rings it home. Again, Baguette squad take the lead early, but you gotta hold off Team BDS here for 5 minutes and not a second shorter.
Baguette won the challenge. BDS won the retake. And back the other way we go. It's Monkey Moon who sends it into the corner. Rizwal should have easy carry of this. A demo does favor BDS. Off the sidewall, centered for a teammate. No, Monkey Moon had no boost, no problem. Rizwal now following in pursuit. Back to midfield. Monkey Moon with a hit up. Swoop in does stop it away at last second. So a save from him will keep this a 1-0 game. And Markite with another hit. A dangerous one at that. And these individual hits, again, accuracy has been one of their best suits. And they've found a way to put pressure down early.
They're doing a great job at reading the clears coming out from Baguette squad right now. They're positioning themselves perfectly to basically just cut those passing lanes away and steal the ball away. And again, booming clear downfield to start the offense. Rizwal, though, gets it around Monkey Moon, gets this pass up, but nobody there. This ball goes into the corner, and Swoopin, not expecting a miss, goes for a touch and misses that shot.
That one will fall right down under Ukis. He did get a touch. Rizwal came over. You could expect the hit. Unfortunately, it didn't connect. Now Mark Baguette will send it the other way. A bounce for Rizwal, easy to handle. Challenged one by BDS at midfield. A carry by Monkey Moon. He gets bopped out of the situation. And Mark Baguette now carrying. No, Rizwal saves it again.
Oh, good demo from Mark. And another demo. Net is open.
That's a goal.
Monkey Moon just pushes it into the net. And beautiful play from Team BDS.
Getting physical in the box, in their half, is what kept Notorious Legion in games. It's what's kept BDS in games. That's what we expected Baguette Squad to do once they started getting opportunities, and they haven't been able to find that.
Clutch touch there from Monkey Moon, and another save put on that ball. And Mark, intentional whiff, maybe, but we're going to go ahead and call it a tactical fake. And Clay X puts it towards the corner. Baguette Squad still in this one, but it's definitely looking like the pendulum is swinging to the side of Team BDS.
And the momentum swing could be another goal, and that's a pass downfield, and Mark Baguette flips under, and he rides that back to the net. I mean, Monkey Moon with the setup, Mark Baguette with the finish. It was going to go either way, but they score at will, Subi. They score when they want to, and now Baguette are looking at a 3-0 if they don't respond.
And in this series, if you look back at the scoreboards, you're going to say, wow, PlayX hasn't done a thing. He's had goose eggs the entire...
Hold on.
Oh, hold the microphone because Swoopin is tying this game up.
Carries it by himself, flicks it over a defender towards the top shelf, bounce down, no problem. Hello. All of a sudden, it's a 2-2 game, and you need an individual play front like that to keep Baguette in this series.
And as I was saying before, you might take a look at the scoreboard and wonder, you know, where's Clay X been? What's he been doing? Because no goal, no assist, but he's been doing stuff like this. He finally gets one on the board and gives Team BDS the lead once again.
That was all him. He stole boost. He won the challenge. In the center of the net. I mean, they score at will, dude. There's nothing else you can say. To all of Baguette's credit for staying in this series. They score at will.
The word that comes to mind when I think of Clay X, it's got to be scrappy. This guy is just a scrappy player.
You can never count him out. I think that's really the kind of the storyline for this entire team. Oh my god. What is happening?
Oh, just great transition down the field, and Rizwal beating out Monkey Moon there and rings it inside of the post. Rizwal with his third goal of the series off of that one coming out from Swoopin.
I guess you can't count any of these teams out. This is the best we've seen Baguette play in weeks. Now tied with a minute left. Who's going to score next? I honestly have no idea. I don't think we're going to see an overtime. And that's going to go off the sideball. Here's an opportunity. Swoop into the back line. Down for Swoop in. No, Monkey Moon intercepts it and sends it the other way. Rizzo cuts it off, but Monkey Moon is there. Open net. Okay, Swoop in. No worries. Saves it for now. Mark by 8. Sends it up for Yukis, who will unfortunately redirect it for Monkey Moon, but back to midfield, and Playax has to fall back in transition. Oh, that's a good play.
That is a tough save.
Oh my God.
Tough save. And marked by 8, looking for demos. And this is going to be dangerous. Team BDS has to scramble back to defense.
He bumped him out. They have to slow this down in midfield. They have no boost now. That's a booming hit. Who's going to be in position? Yukis, no. Follow up open net. No, it's so unfortunate, but BDS with 5 seconds to go. Oh, the miss by Yukis. I mean, you can only hope it goes to the corner. Mark by 8, reading it beautifully. This team, you never count them out, man. 4 goals. Unreal.
Unreal. Right here, Ritual with the catch. Ritual trying to keep it alive. It does, and Yukis can't keep control. Marked by 8, slams it home. Wow. And Team BDS get the sweep here. 2 sweeps back to back in our first games of the day.
BDS now moved to 3-1, I believe, on the season. And what an impressive showing it was. I am surprised that Baguette was able to keep up that well. Yes, I think, again, silver lining. Yes, they're 0-4, but they played BDS incredibly well. But again, looking at just what BDS was able to do, they remind me of Stromboli. Just the amount of team plays they've put on display, their ability to create passing opportunities, their ability to score at will. You can never count any one of them out. Whether one person's underperforming, everyone else is getting involved. 1 goal, 2 goals apiece. Monkey Moon, Clay, marked by 8. Everyone was involved. BDS is the best team in Europe right now. I mean, they are just so good.
They're definitely making a case for themselves here. That is for sure. And with the plays that we saw coming out from them, especially the just pure aggression on the field from Clay X to just demo players left and right and open up the net for Mark by 8 and Monkey Moon to pass the ball up and down the field. It was something of beauty to watch. I love seeing teams just really open up like this.
And the one complaint I had about them from last week was BDS struggled to stay in the play on transitions. Like, there was a couple times where they would get demoed or bumped out, and they panicked a little bit when it came to finding ways to center or clear the ball away. There was none of that here. And again, we look at a situation where they make mistakes, but the amount of goals they score is so much greater than the mistakes they make. So they don't have to worry about it. So I'm surprised. Yes, I want them to fix it. But again, I want to take this a positive route. I look at Baguette, and I'm incredibly impressed. Yes, it was a 3-0 sweep, but you tested BDS. You tested a great team. You brought it the distance. There are things you need to work on, but keep going. There is a ceiling for you guys. You haven't reached it yet, and I think you could possibly start winning some series here in the next couple weeks.
Well, Spaceman, Team BDS pushed themselves to 2-2, and Baguette Squad unfortunately fall to 0-4. But the question is, can RCD Espanyol keep their streak going and remain undefeated, or are Team Vertex going to pull out a upset of the century? We'll find out as the next match is going to be underway in just a few minutes.
Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. When night and day.
solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we get started again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we get started again. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. We can start again. We can start it.
some levels that I've never been. When we dance again.
Hello and welcome back to the Rival Series. We are here live from North Atlanta, not quite North Hollywood. I have my co-commentators joining me. It's going to be Supersonic and Stacks. So the same people, new locale. And in case you're just joining us, we've made some changes. We're doing a remote broadcast because of the coronavirus. We want to limit travel and let all the travel happen on the pitch. Same players, same situation. Like I said, same co-commentators, Supersonic and Stacks. Tell me how you're feeling. Super, you go first. Well, that's an interesting take there. Stacks, talk to me a little bit about how you're feeling. All right, we're having some issues real quick with my homies, so let's just hang out at my home. It's been a fantastic 2 games so far. We started off the day with WDG versus Notorious Legion. WDG was coming off of a bye week, and that seemed to be an issue. Notorious Legion Esports came through and took the whole set. Now, if you guys have been watching some of the games behind the scenes, you saw the European Invitational. We saw Dignitas and Team Solo, well, Team Solo Mid, but it's a rival series team, right? So Notorious Legion Esports, they're now 2-2 in our rival series, and watch out, because I think they're trending upwards. After you beat those 2 guys and then come into the rival series and kind of take We Dem Girlz, it was a sweep 3-0. That's the type of stuff you put in the pocket and bring to the bank. Match number 2, we just saw Team BDS take down Baguette. Now, this is interesting because it was a 3-0 sweep and Baguette lost. They're 0-4 now, kind of what you expect. But if you didn't watch the game, I implore you at the end of the broadcast, go back and watch the VOD. Baguette was stepping up repeatedly, bringing Team BDS to task and finding everybody with just the right amount of shots on goal. Unfortunately, when Monkey Moon is getting a hat trick, there's only so much you can do. He was 3-7 in game number 1. Game number 2, Baguette kind of fought back. And then game number 3, at the last minute, we saw Team BDS go ahead and take that one. So a nice close matchup. Coming up next, we've got RCD Espanyol taking on Team Vertex. Shout out to the chat. Kilo said, "Here comes the monster." That is RCD Espanyol. Hello, Stacks. Steak, Tox, and Jamwe will be on the field for them, and Team Vertex struggling. Coca, Nagflow, and Dumaine. Shout outs to Dumaine, rocking the mouse and keyboard. My fellow PC homie. We love to see it. RCD Espanyol coming into this one flying high. The tests are good. 3-0. Just looking cute, feeling cute. Steak, Tox, and Zamwe have looked real strong on the pitch. Team Vertex, on the other hand, a little bit lackluster. They're 1-3 so far, and they've been trending, frankly, downwards. Coca and Nagflow have some nice rotations. Dumain gets left in the back sometimes, and that kind of creates problematic possession for this team, Team Vertex. And RCD Espanyol across the way, though, have been anything but. All goals all the time, baby. This is a very aggressive team. You're going to want to watch how much they control the ball on their side of the field. They got good at corners, and they're good at ceiling shots as well. We've seen a couple of neat pinches, a couple off the mark. But again, this is the rival series. This is where you make your mistakes. You work on it behind the scenes in order to ascend to the championship series. Some of our players have come from the championship series themselves. Weedy G has Greasy Meister on the scene. Later on, when we move to North America, you'll see Jacob and Karma and a couple of other players that have made their names in the Rocket League Championship Series. So you want to keep that in mind. Let's try this one more time. Supersonic and Stacks, hello and welcome. Supersonic, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Hopefully you can hear me this time around. I'm hanging out here at home, got my shoes off, kicked back, ready to watch some more good Rocket League. We just saw those matches go down. NLE playing hot, coming off of TEI and coming into today. So they're starting to fix a lot of things, and I'm excited to see these next two matches.
Fantastic.
You know, when you were muted earlier, Super, you never sounded so good.
And we've got a little bit of Stacks as well. We love to hear it.
Yeah,
we love to see it. We love to see
great
you
minds
guys
think
doing
alike.
it. It certainly is. So I was talking a lot about RCD Espanyol and Team Vertex. Stacks, you're the veteran. You've seen teams start at the bottom and sometimes ascend to the top. RCD is sitting up on top, and Vertex have Mount Olympus to climb. How do they get the ball up the hill?
So for Team Vertex, I don't think that this is as much of an uphill climb as it looks like on paper. I mean, yes, their record certainly doesn't look good, but they've been very consistent throughout the season. Game 1, they've struggled. Game 2, they've actually bounced back really well and dominated most matches. Then it's games 3 and 4 where they go back to having a tough time scoring. And while they're in the lower third in defense and scoring, when they get opportunities, they're right on par with their shooting percentage with a team like Espanyol. So I don't think that they are as outmatched as it looks, but the way Espanyol is playing, we heard Spaceman say earlier, he thinks Team BDS is the best team in Europe. We're going to see a team in Espanyol who might have something to say about that.
Well, before these teams take the field, I will ask you guys for your predictions. Supersonic, the floor is yours.
I mean, this feels like a no-brainer to me. If you look at it on paper, I know that we're saying Mount Olympus for Vertex, and I think that's exactly what this RCD Espanyol team is going to be for them. This is the Mount Olympus. I've got to go with RCD Espanyol. They're just too good at the isolating one-on-ones. They make the shots. They've got the defense there. They have all things firing, and I think it's going to be a tough task for Vertex to step up to.
Stacks, we heard you talk a little bit about how this wasn't so lopsided. Break it down.
Yeah, I don't think it is necessarily Mount Olympus. We'll go, since I'm, back in my native home of Maine here, go with a slightly smaller mountain, Mount Katahdin. I think it's just, it is going to be a challenge for Vertex. They have had trouble keeping teams off the scoreboard, and RCD Espanyol, they will light it up. I do think Espanyol takes this series, but unlike the matches we had earlier, I do not think this is going to be a sweep. It could go the distance, and if it does, Vertex, they do okay.
I like that extra depth there. It's not going to be a sweep. You guys heard me talk about this one. RCD Espanyol all the way, baby. You're up on top, sit there on the throne, and look down upon Team Vertex. That's how I expect RCD Espanyol to rock this one out. So again, all three of us agree earlier today. The commentators got game 1 wrong, but the commentators got game number 2 right. What about game number 3? It's up to you guys. Super, Stacks, rocket the league.
All right, so the challenge has been laid down, of course. Espanyol, they are the favorites. As we talked about, Super, Team Vertex coming in with a daunting task, but they've been in this position before, especially Coca and Dumain. playing from that underdog position a lot last season. How do you think that they respond now coming into this matchup against a team at the top of the standings?
I think that they've got to clean up a ton on the defensive side. If they can get their defense going, I think exactly as you said, we could see this go to a later game 5, but there's been a lot of defensive breakdowns on the side of Vertex so far this season. We'll see if they can piece that together here in game number 1.
Well, that ball takes an unfortunate ricochet off of Coca and almost turned into disaster on the side of Vertex as Coca has to save this one off the back wall. We are underway in game 1 of our 3rd match in the European Rival Series today. Here's Dumaine looking for Nagflow. Going to try to get this centered. He cannot. So Tox trying to go over top of Coca, who's had to put a lot of work in on the defensive end in just the first 30 seconds. This time, Dumaine deflects the ball out towards midfield, and it will be staked to reset for Espanyol.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things we want to watch this match is that third man on Vertex side. It'll indicate if they've cleaned it up or not. Their third man has been really willing to make cuts on his rotation back to the infield when there's nobody else back there to give him support, and that's where their breakdown's been, so that's what I'm watching for this match.
Everybody whiffs out of the corner, so it'll be Tox. Infield to Samway, over top of Coca. Nagflow almost got there in time, but Stake will drive it home.
Nagflow is going to get there, able to get the touch back up here. Just barely, but Stake right there to dunk it still. He just could not clear it around him. First goal going to go the way of RCD Espanyol.
So it takes just 1 minute and 9 seconds. And now Espanyol looking for more, but Nagflow jumps in the way of that ball. Now it'll be Stake towards the corner, looking to center. He does! Ooh. Got that last touch, and Shamway could not get there in time.
Coca making it back just in time to save that one. Close situation for them. Stake, though, going to win that battle in the mid. Infield pass to Jamwe. Looks for the bump on Nagflow, but Nagflow with a great reaction gets over it, gets the side flip, and knocks that one away.
Yeah, that's a great job by Nagflow, keeping his focus with the oncoming attacker, but then Tox back the other way. As good as Coca has been in the first couple of minutes, he's finally starting to slip because he's been asked to almost carry the defensive effort against a relentless Espanyol squad.
And that's one of the things that if you're having a breakdown on the defense, if they're relentless on your net, it's going to become a problem, and it's going to be much more evident much earlier on in the match. So, going to need to clean that one up.
Oh, good pass out to Stake. He tried to bank one off the ceiling towards the net. Kokai got in the way, but now Tox trying to drop one down, and Nagflow just dumps it off to the corner and will clear this ball out to midfield. Now Stake. He lost control, tried to get a piece of Coca on his way through. Jamwe comes in to intercept again, missed on the second touch, and a chance for numbers the other way, but Vertex breaking out a little slowly. A fortuitous bounce off the corner, and the shot's going to go high. Back the other way now for Coca, as this will kick out to Dumaine. Right down towards the top corner, did miss the mark. And again, Coca circling around, a little indecisiveness. Now he finally turns, and it will be taken downfield by Espanyol. That indecisiveness leads to a shot from Tox. But now back the other way comes Vertex. They got 2 minutes to work with. Still down 2 goals. Looking for their first great chance on target. Could be here, but Dumaine gets taken out by Stake. Tox downfield, off the mark, and Coca guides it away safely. Oh, that almost went in as well, coming from the side.
Such a close one. That demo in the midfield was great. That player is about to turn around and have a shot on an open net. They were able to get that demo out. Great save there from Stake on the goal line.
Well, Stake, he tried to pinch that downfield. Shades of Reddles. It didn't really work out. Now Tox will just throw it out towards midfield, try to buy his teammates time to boost up. There's not a lot of boost to be had in the defensive backfield for Espanyol. They don't need it, though. Tox going to break out, and Coca barely makes the save. He can't make the second, and Shamway might have just put the dagger into game 1.
If he didn't, I'd be very surprised. 3-0, minute left on the clock here. Going to be a really tough task for Vertex. Vertex not doing that bad. They're getting almost the same number of shots until right there at the end. They were only one shot off from RCD Espanyol, but unfortunately the shooting percentage is just not there at the moment.
And that's been a constant between these two teams. Espanyol does average almost a full shot more per game than Vertex, and the shooting percentages have been pretty well even. In fact, Vertex is just a little bit higher, but with Espanyol having all those extra opportunities, you have to imagine something's got to give eventually, and it has 3 times, as everybody has scored for the front runners in the European Rival Series.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say about shots on goal. Your percentage may be a little bit lower, but if you're hitting 25% and they're only 0.74% ahead of you, but you're doing 2 times the shots, you're going to end up with more goals. It's just basic math.
And the possession game has greatly favored Espanyol, as you see they're just trying to dribble out the clock at this point. An extra goal would just be icing on the cake, but hardly necessary, as this will go back to Chamois. Textbook closing out in game number 1 as Espanyol start their march towards 4-0.
RCD Espanyol dominated the boost game that round, was able to just keep Vertex, as Spaceman says, on the back foot that entire match. They took almost 75% of both the mid boosts and had roughly 80% of their own boosts taken. So they controlled the boost throughout that match.
And a player like Koka's got to be really frustrated, because he certainly does not want to be the guy all the way at the back, but he was in that opening game. You saw it there. He had 4 saves. Most of them came very early on in that game. He also had that many shots, a big goose egg for Koka in game 1.
Yeah, and that shows just how much on the back foot they were. Coca was never able to get up and even make an attempt at a shot on goal. Not even make an attempt for a pass near goal where it gives him a shot. He couldn't be gifted one. RCD Espanyol completely dominated the pitch in that match. They controlled the speed, the pace, possession game, the majority of the statistics that we would look at to determine who's the actual feel of the game, not just the raw stats or score per game. They dominated all the key factors.
Well, the career leader in total goals in the rival series on this Vertex roster had exactly none. Nobody had any goals in game 1. They will try to do a lot about that as we go to game 2 on Neo Tokyo. Opening kickoff going to be very important, because that set the tone for Espanyol in game 1, and yet again, the ball finds its way towards the Vertex end, but not for long, as Nagflo will flick one down towards the opposite corner. Trying to get set up. Dumaine could not intercept that ball from Chamois, and that is an inauspicious start for Team Vertex.
Great challenge from Tox there. Vertex able to get possession back, though. Coca, shot attempt, not able to get anything going. Woo! Dangerous ball.
Yeah, if they don't score there, that's got to be a bad omen for the rest of the series, too. Great opportunity for Dumaine. High degree of difficulty as he was coming through, but one that I'm sure he'd like to have back. Koka and Steak both tried to block each other. Neither got the ball. And now the net's open if anybody can get there, but Nagflo could not kick the ball out towards Dumaine. Koka did all he could to disrupt the attack coming back the other way. Chamois will center, and Dumaine right out towards Steak. That was well read, but even a better read by Koka. And now Team Vertex finally getting on the board. It is Nagflo.
Exactly what they needed. Vertex needed a goal here to open this one up and start getting this offense moving. You need to get a little bit of a rhythm. You need to get that flow going, and Nagflo gets them on the board. Started off here in game 2, 3:53 left.
Kickoff goes left, but it is taken by Espanyol. Chamois, center ball, blocked away by Nagflo again. And Vertex has, for the most part, done a pretty good job of keeping that ball out of the center, out from in front of their own net. But it's in situations like this where Dumaine has to get away from Steak trying to take him out. where they run into a lot of trouble because just that threat of contact seems to throw Vertex off their game. All three cars converge for Espanyol, but it does not cost them yet. But Nagflo will rotate around. His shot on is going to be easily blocked well out in front by Cox. And another opportunity gone by the wayside. You wonder, Super, if maybe they could have taken possession a little bit more there and tried to burn off a little more clock instead of giving it away.
Absolutely. I think they had space to take it instead of boom it out of there. They could have eaten some clock up for sure. 100% agree with you on that.
And possession, of course, being such an important part of this game. You saw what Espanyol did with their possession in game one. And despite the demo on Dumaine, Nagflo rotates back for the save. Still numbers advantage, though, and Espanyol denied again. It's Dumaine making yet another save. Now Nagflo, that's going to find Coca. He fakes out Cox. Left him in the dust, and Coca doubles the lead. What a play!
Great play here. The RCD Espanyol starting to get a bit aggressive on the offensive end. They're starting to open up some holes in the background. There's many times here so far this match that they have had all three players in the offensive half during a transitional phase. Two of these times, something's been made of it by Vertex.
Way tried to set up Stake, but he never jumped. Assumed that ball was going to be cleared. But he neither got ball nor defender. So Espanyol will go back to the drawing board. This will kick off of Stake to find Shamway, but he missed it entirely as well. I think that last touch accidentally by Stake threw him off. And now Coca off ceiling on target. No, sent away by Shamway.
Again, RCD Espanyol looking to try and get some sort of offense going here. They haven't been able to, and it feels like it's quite frustrating to them. But as I say that every time, they always prove me wrong. Pass off the back wall from Cox here, and it's going to come down right into the hands of Stake and into the net.
And that's exactly what Espanyol needed. They've been trying to get this ball out in front, very close to the Vertex net. And Nagflo in particular did a great job of clearing that ball away. Dumaine as well, sweeping around from the side, kind of a late rotation. This time, everything came a little too late. The contact wasn't there. And now Espanyol are finally on the board. Can they add another? Not on this occasion. They get the demo on Coca, but it's the other two who have been putting in the work defensively. That's a clever pass, and Stake shot denied again by Nagflo.
Yeah, Nagflo seeing right through that one, touches it, almost ends up being a dangerous situation for RCD as he put it right over the third man and out into the backfield. They just couldn't capitalize to get there in time to make anything out of it.
Well, now Cox intercepting Coca. Stake with a drive, and Dumaine makes that save as well. A well-earned Savior medal for Dumaine, who has been a monster on both ends of the pitch. Now it's Nagflo to pop another one away. Shamway as Espanyol continue to circle the wagons, trying to find an equalizer. You can tell, Super, that they've kicked it into high gear in the final minute.
They're trying to get this one in. They're definitely kicking it into high gear. They've had a ton of shots so far, out shooting 12-2, but the scoreboard doesn't show that right now. It has to be extremely frustrating to have that many opportunities just taken away time and time again.
Coca, if he has enough boost, no, he's run out, so Shamway will clear away, trying to find Stake high in the air. He could not. Now to be back to Shamway, all he can do is slow things down. Final countdown here. Cox for Stake, looking for an equalizer, has the boost to follow, but the shot falls wayward, and Team Vertex ties the series. And get this, Supersonic, now, so far this season, Team Vertex is 0-5 in Game 1, but 5-0 in Game 2.
You know, they show up. They show up where they need to in these Game 2s. And defensively is where they showed up. And that is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. That was the downfall. I didn't see the holes in their defense at all there. In other matches, in the VODs I was watching and some of the replays, there was a lot of times where, they'd leave Dumaine on the back wall. The other two would go to get corner boost. There was a lot of situations where you leave them isolated, nobody in the box. That box has had somebody in it the whole game, and it's showing defensively. They don't have a ton of possession, but when they do get possession in this game too, they made something of it every time.
Yeah, it's amazing how this season has gone for Vertex. It's just every match is the same. Now, what do they do going into game 3? Because game 3 is the game where, they've been outscored, but not to quite the margin that they have been in games, say, 1 and 4. They've only been outscored a total of 5-9 once they're coming off of a win here. So, what do they do in this game to change their fortunes?
Don't change anything from what you did in the previous match. Maintain your defense. That is golden for you. When you're showing up on the defensive side, they're getting things done, they're getting the saves, and they're opening themselves up for opportunities.
Correction just for the sake of completion? No, I do not need to correct anything. Boom. It is, in fact, 0-4 and 4-0. I don't know why I doubted myself, but here we go. We go into game 3 now, as these two teams will lock it up yet again, tied at a game apiece. It'll be Coca, intercepted by Chamoué. He got the demo as well. Steak has no more boost, but Tox does, and Coca makes the save on him. This will go all the way around, and it will be Nagflo looking for one more touch. Great challenge. This will fall to Dumaine. That'll be left for Coca, but Chamoué is in the way. And Tox now one-on-one. What a pass to Steak. They deserve a goal, and they got it.
This is one of the things that RCD Espanyol does so well. When they can isolate a single player on the goal line, they typically win these battles. Clean play, nice infield pass, easy finish behind the defender on that top shell.
1-3, the record for Vertex in game 3, and they are on the losing end very early on. Cox takes this away from Coca. Drop down pass though for Nagflo. A blistering shot saved away right at the line by Steak. That was one of Vertex's best opportunities of the whole series, and one that I'm sure on another day they would have put into the net. Now Coca back the other way. It is an open net this time, and they do not miss these.
And this is something that was a bit of a problem for RCD Espanyol in the last game, where they started getting a bit aggressive. They would have 2-3 guys in midfield, 1 or 2 of them in the offensive half, but nobody at net during those transitions. And you gotta be there. You cannot leave open nets for anybody in the rival series. They're gonna hit those.
Chamoué trying to change speeds and play tricks on the defensive Vertex. It has not worked out, and now Nagflo going to take his time. What do the Germans have for an encore here as they try to fight back against the top-ranked Espanyol squad? Coca did get that corner boost, but he'll rotate out. Nagflo, good center ball for Dumaine. Chamoué makes the save, but he won't make another as Coca comes up this time. We'd seen him so far at the back super, this time much more aggressive.
Oh, Coca super excited here. The open ball, defenders caught awkward off the ground. You gotta love it. Coca getting up there and getting to get a shot, that's gotta feel real good for him. That helps keep that composure and that headspace once you get yourself on the board.
Both teams cheat up. It was Chamoué with the better cheat, and it leads to an early attack for Espanyol. Can Tox get back to this? He can. They almost got caught napping on the defensive side. This goes off Chamoué and does go wide after he got the demo on Coca. Now Nagflo trying to pop one over Steak.
Out to the middle. Coca here. He's going to be that one this time. Rotate back. Nagflo. Looks like Coca might have another opportunity here. He's getting a little more involved on the offense, and I love seeing it right now. Ooh.
There's a big drive from Nagflo, and he adds yet another. And this is the offense Vertex was hoping for at the start of the season. As good as they looked throughout the offseason and through the play-in, now we're finally seeing them. Dumaine, meanwhile, picks up his third assist as Nagflo gets on the board.
Yeah, Vertex finally finding a rhythm offensively. They were really awkward, kind of slow in game one as RCD Espanyol took control of everything. Steak gonna almost bring this one back. Or does bring it back up to 2-3. They're only down one here now, 2.5 minutes left. I do want to stay on that, though, that Vertex does, on the offense, have a much better rhythm than we saw through game one. Game two was all defense. They're finally bringing the offense in here in game three.
When you look at the tail of the tape on these two teams, Espanyol comes in as the number 4 team in goals per game. They average just over 2, but they've been in a shootout here in game 3 against a Vertex team that does not run it up very often.
No, they don't typically run it up, but they are definitely getting on there right now. 9-8, so they're currently out shooting RCD Espanyol, which is not indicative of what their season's been like so far. Nice place shot from Tox as he comes in upside down and puts it just about on that upper 90.
Yeah, finally somebody other than Steak getting on the board. Steak leading the way for all scorers in this series with 4 goals. That just the second for Tox as it ties up this game. Series and game all knotted up. Banger off the backboard and Coca will clear it away. Now Dumaine looking for Nagflow. Dumaine trying to win this challenge on Tox. He does not. Steak is up so quickly. Got a piece of the ceiling as well, but burned his jump coming off. And now it will be back downfield for Chamois. Important clearance there for Nagflow. Now Dumaine playing one further on, and Tox dangerously in front of his own net. Now he pitches off the wall, and no, they just get back in time.
Whoa.
Dumaine had no business making that save, and yet he still did with a superhuman effort to get back.
What a save there. That ball I thought for sure was going in. Gets back just in time to knock it away.
Well, now Dumaine, as we reach the final minute, can he set one up on the other side? No. Coca just beaten to this ball. Now Steak, pop over one. Just about past Dumaine, but he does well to control this. Another shot on is just off the post, saving the bacon of Espanyol. Chamois won't get there, though. Dumaine can't pass towards midfield, so back and forth the teams go, waiting for someone to blink in the final 30.
This is one of those moments you're in that game 3 situation. You were talking about how in game 3s, Vertex kind of starts to fall off again. And they started off so strong in this match, and RCD Espanyol has been able to fight back. Is doubt starting to creep in on the side of Vertex? We might end up in an OT situation and put them to the test.
Overtime is looming with the clock at 0. Tox will let this touchdown. And so we do, in fact, go to extra time, where both of these teams are exactly 500 on the season. Vertex 1-1. Espanyol has gone there 4 times. And now they've finished with a 3rd overtime victory. It's a 4-3 winner from Tox.
This and right back to the stat line that you were talking about. We talked about coming into the match here today. Game 3s, this has got to be rough. You're losing that game 3 here once again. What's the stat on that now? Is that 0-6 on game 3s?
On game 3, 0-5.
I know you know.
Oh no, 1-4. 1-4 in game 3.
So now, and this is now okay. So 1-4. That's a tough situation. Does that get into your head? Have they even looked at that statistic? That's one of those things. Like, we're looking at it, but is that even in their mind? I'm not sure that that's even in the forefront of their head. We like talking about it. I don't know that it's going to affect them, but they're going to need to figure something out here again in game number 4. It does seem like when they get into these matches and they start taking as many shots as the opponent, the defense isn't there quite as much. They still had a ton of saves there, 7 total saves versus 11 shots, but those 4 that weren't saved all went in. RCD Espanyol has been on the money with the accuracy, and they're putting that defense to the test.
And what I think the constant has been so far, as you mentioned, with the shot total for Vertex, as they take more shots, they get a little comfortable on the offensive end, and that causes them to kind of lose sight of what's going on behind them. And now we go into a closeout situation where Espanyol, they've only missed out on one chance to finish off a team, and then they did so in Game 5 later on in that series, as of course they are 3-0 on the season, one win away from reaching 4-0 and staying up above the likes of Notorious Legion and others that are trying to catch up to them. As we continue on, Game 4 on Utopia Coliseum. Tough to have a much better week than the likes of Espanyol or Notorious Legion have this week, and what a time to have it as we reach the midway point of the season.
Yep. Good effort from Stake to kind of stall that one out. Fox tries to get back. Dumaine with a shot. Gonna get knocked away. Shamway there to break it up.
Oh, Shamway
Whoa.
just helplessly falling down. He could not get a piece of this ball. I'm reasonably confident there was no boost. There was not. And all he could do is watch as Dumaine cleans up the rebound, and Vertex strike first as they try to stave off, dropping to 1-4.
The feeling of that as you're falling and you just realize there is absolutely nothing you are going to be able to do, is you have to just watch that ball go in, is just heartbreaking. But Vertex going to be the first one on the board here early in Game 4. See if they can get out of this funk and start taking some Game 4s for themselves.
For what it's worth, if we get there, Vertex has only seen one Game 5 this season. They beat Baguette squad there for their only win of the season. They got a lot of work to hold on here, though, because Espanyol has proved to be a relentless attacking team. Jamway with a drive and ranging over to make the save is Dumaine. Follow up from Stake. They have numbers up ahead, but cannot get the crucial touch they need. Now Coca just lets this go to the corner. Does steal some boost. He'll keep the attack alive. And Tox makes sure that pass doesn't find Nagflow. Follow up is saved by Stake. Now Shamway. Bit of a pre-jump to challenge on Coca. It works out. And now Tox, he can't center either, as both teams do an excellent job keeping the ball out of the front.
Coca going to try and get a big clear here over. Pass off the backboard to Dumaine. Not able to get anything from it. And they're starting to get aggressive here on offense once again. Right here, Coca is back finally, but they're... Oh my God! Off the backboard is Tox with the pass from Stake, and he's going to redirect that one down and in. Beautifully placed shot from Tox.
Fewest touches in the lobby. Tox doesn't matter. He makes them count as he adds an equalizer, and a loud one at that. Just hanging like a spider on the backboard, and now the challenge for Vertex. Answer that. Good luck, as Shamway will dump one back into the zone. Coca try to carry through. That's going to bounce off of Stake. Tox over to Shamway. Can he get this ball centered? He cannot, as Dumaine keeps the ball out of the middle. And again, Vertex did a good job defensively, except they left Tox. They lost sight of him up on the back wall, and nobody was there to challenge him. That's a good challenge in front of the Espanyol net, and it almost goes in off of Stake. Scary moment there for Espanyol, but we remain tied up going into the second half.
Yeah, those backboard reads are just going to be so hard. If you don't know that guy's there, you're never going to see him in your camera coming in, and you don't know where to beat a block. You can't let those guys be there. You got to keep an eye on your backboard.
Shamway. Good ball over across the field, but nobody there to collect. Coca's over one. Past another. Can Dumaine win the race? No, he tried to jump up on that corner, and it did not work out for him. Now Nagflow. Backboard missed by Tox. Open opportunity now for Coca against Stake. He's beat him, but Shamway recovers and makes the clear. Well done by the defense of Espanyol. This could have been a lot worse. It still could be, but that's another good stop by Shamway at the net, and Espanyol fends off the Vertex attack.
Scoreline's not showing it, but currently the speed and pacing of this game does feel like Vertex is in it to win it. They feel like they've got control over the ball. They're definitely getting a better attack, much more attacks on net, as they've been speeding up that offense, but they're going to need to start kind of reining it in and finding that happy medium spot before they get out of control again.
Chamway beaten out by Dumaine, but he's not likely to keep possession as it will be cleared right back. Again, waiting for someone to make a critical mistake. Ball goes back and forth across the center line. Chamway got around Dumaine, but nobody there. So now Tox will bring it right back in. Chamway did stay up. Backboard play for Stake, and Dumaine gets in the way. Got the demo, though, on Coca. Good centering pass. Selfless play, but Dumaine runs right through Chamway on his way back to make another defensive stop.
Fake with a nice bump there, gets some way, a shot opportunity, not able to find it off the backboard. A lot of good opportunities from both teams here. RCD Espanyol just not quite able to find their rhythm on offense yet.
Well, now Stake will try with the closing seconds here. Chamway off the corner, cannot win that challenge. And it looks like we're headed to overtime for the second game in a row. Must win golden goal situation for Team Vertex. Guide downfield for Coca to guide off to the corner. Was looking for Dumaine, and he'll find him. He goes right around Stake. Got a chance now. Great pass for Naglo. Great pass. Nice shot. Good game.
Vertex coming through, doing exactly what we said they needed to. This is the moment. You need to seize that opportunity, and they show up big. Nice infield pass from Dumaine. Naglo with the finish, and they finally getting some traction here. The defense, they're there on defense, they're there on offense. The rhythm right there towards the last minute and a half and into OT felt really strong out of Vertex, and it feels like that's the speed that they need to be playing, and they need to maintain that for the rest of the season.
Told you this wouldn't be a sweep. How would anybody doubt me? I'm never wrong, except when I am, and well, we don't talk about those times. So the teams do trade overtime wins now. We go to game 5, and Super, they've only played less than a minute of extra time. It's been 2 very quick overtimes, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot between these teams that separates them. But again, you notice on that scoreboard, Coca, again, with no shots, they feel like they've got to get him going, because if he's all the way at the back, they're going to be sweating it out a lot.
I don't know that I agree. Maybe this is just a team that lives in the sweat. Maybe this is they like saunas. I'm not sure what it is. They're more of a jacuzzi guy instead of a pool guy. But Coca being back there, those are the matches they're winning. When Coca's not up there on offense, the game 1, I don't think he had any shots, but they took that one, or game 2, I'm sorry. Game 2, they took that one. He didn't really have any shots, but he was back there on defense, and they shut them down defensively. They can, when they do have the defense going, the offense does make plays off the opportunities presented to them, and I think that they need to stay in that rhythm. I did like it a little bit better here. Coca was a bit more involved. He was at least in the rotation, wasn't 100% back the whole time, but I think that that's just kind of where Vertex lives.
Well, 2 maps that we've seen for the first time today. This one, Champions Field, as always, in our deciding match. This one's turned out to be quite the joy to watch between Espanyol and Team Vertex. It'll be Tox centering pass for Stake. Coca jumps in the way. And that is where he has had his presence felt all throughout this series.
Up front is Coca this time, though.
Chamway, hello. Chamway, a ball that accidentally finds him and goes into an open net. That's got to be heartbreak for Vertex.
Again, Coca, though, one of the things to notice, Coca was the one there. He was the farthest forward, now putting it back to Naglo and Dumaine to be back there, and Naglo just not able to get there as that shot comes all the way across the field and finds home.
Well, the gauntlet's been thrown down now. They've got 4 minutes and change to find yet another answer, and Vertex, for the most part, have had an answer for everything Espanyol has thrown their way. Coca around Stake. Stake will get that midfield boost, but Coca will not get the ball in front, as this will go all the way back. Dumaine's going to have a little trouble out of the corner. Dribbled around one, but Stake stopped him in his tracks. Chamway, another good challenge. Stake is there. and the defense did just enough to make that shot difficult. Now Tox, selfless play, tried to set up Shamway. That does not work out. And Vertex, they're going to get away with one there, as it looked like Espanyol, had they all been on the same page, might have doubled their lead. Oh, and
What a
they're going
situation
to
there.
anyways.
Another
this
one.
goes in to an empty net.
Once again, Coca, the guy out in front, he's that third man for this team, and when he's not back, defense breaks down. Double commit, pushing for that mid boost from the other two players. Coca all the way out in front, came off of a bump. He's not going to be able to get back there, and it leaves a wide open net for RCD Espanyol.
Espanyol now with a 2-goal lead in this second closeout situation. Now a good ball downfield, looking for yet another. They have had some success off a quick counterattack that Vertex has not been able to keep up with. They've had a few close calls in this series, but not nearly the level of success that they're enjoying right now, and a missed opportunity by Vertex in front of the Espanyol net. Another challenge going back towards the orange half of the field, and it just feels right now for Vertex like it's an uphill climb, just trying to get and stay on Espanyol's half of the field. And yet another from Shamway.
Defensively breaking down. This time Coca was out trying to get some boost out on the side. He's not able to get back. That second man needed to be there until he got back. Unfortunately left early, and another open net shot for RCD Espanyol. You cannot give these guys these opportunities.
It feels like not quite like they're playing on Wasteland, but almost like they're playing on Cosmic, where just everything is funneling towards the center of the field right now. And finally a quality opportunity from Dumaine, and at almost point-blank range, he could not find the angle. And if their shoulders weren't slumping before, they've got to be feeling just desperate for anything to go their way now.
Yeah, it's coming down to the 2-minute remaining mark. Pressure is just going to continue to build. We did say that Vertex likes being in these kind of sweat-style situations with the heat on. That's where they've been performing, but they've got to get this defense going.
Another drive from State, right side. That's going to find the net. And it looks like, as much as Vertex might think they enjoy the heat, things are cooling off for them on the offensive end. They have not gotten anything going. Meanwhile, Espanyol adds their 4th goal in Game 5.
Yeah, it feels like RCD Espanyol is kind of on the outside of the sauna, just kind of cranking the dial on them, and it's starting to get the heat to a level that Vertex just cannot handle.
It will be Dumaine with 90 seconds left. Good pass. That will find Nagflow. Is it too little too late, or do they have a comeback in them here?
We're going to find out. First sign of life from that offense on Vertex this match. Game 5, they've got a minute 26, the tall order, but we did see when they get at the beginning of, I believe, last match, they had some offense really going. They had it going. They had the rhythm. They were getting shots downfield, and they did them in quick succession. See if they can pull that off here in the final minute.
Nagflow, missed opportunity to dribble that ball downfield, let that ball get a little too far out ahead of him. Now this race to the corner boost will be won by Dumaine, but they do not have time to continue playing on their own defensive third. Coca will circle around. He will dribble. He'll get by State. Got a piece of Tox. He also clips Shamway, but Shamway had plenty of time to go grab that corner boost. It is almost unfathomable how a team down 3 in that situation could not have just thrown everybody forward, but it happened there for Vertex, and as a result, they miss out on a chance to get back within 2, and that may seal their fate here in Game 5.
Yeah, RCD Espanyol's done a great job of just controlling the ball, maintaining possession. They're making the most out of these plays and these opportunities and absolutely capitalizing on any opportunity presented to them. It's just been a bit much for Vertex to step up to.
Vertex, a team that seems to be a lot more willing to play defense and not take as many risks on the offensive end, at least when they get into league play, and it has reared its ugly head in Game 5. Some missed opportunities and some fortunate breaks for Espanyol. A few balls happened to find the nose of Chamois throughout this series, but what matters is the final score. It goes 4-1 to Espanyol. They take this in 5, and boy, that might have been Vertex's best shot.
And unfortunately, this is adding to that stat that you brought up at the beginning of this series. Again, loss in Game 1, win in Game 2, followed up by 2 more quick losses. No, not necessarily quick. We went to OT in one of them. But again,
we
it's
did go to
maintaining a
quick
statistic.
overtime. Yeah,
They
and
find their
for
defense in
Vertex,
Game 2.
yeah, for
Go ahead.
Vertex, they've got to have a very short-term memory because they do still have an entire second half of the season. And you look at their strength of schedule, it's something that is very easy to overlook, but it has been something that has been a concern for them because they have had a brutal start to the season. You look at some of the teams that they've gone up against at the very beginning. You're looking at a team like Solary, Triple Trouble. Baguette squad was a challenge for them. They had RJM, who played out of their minds against Vertex. And now Espanyol here. Hey, next week they get Geneva. Yeah, they get Notorious Legion, but I mean, you could have it's tough to have a tougher start to the schedule than what Vertex has had.
100% agree with you. Vertex has had one of the tougher schedules for the beginning of the season. I mean, Triple Trouble, Solary, and Espanyol in your opening 5 matches, rough. However, Notorious Legion, we just saw them play out of their minds. They've been playing real hot this weekend. If they can maintain what they've been doing, that's going to be a tough matchup for them as well. BDS to close out the season. So they started off with a really rough schedule, but the end isn't looking too much easier for them. They're going to need to figure out where that rhythm is for them. It really feels like they can't find a balance that they're maintaining through matches. They're doing things really well in these Game 2s. They need to figure out what's going so well for them in Game 2. What are you doing in Game 2 that you're not doing in Games 1, 3, and 4? And you need to start copy pasta all that over into those other matches. We'll see if Vertex can pull that off in their later matches in the season.
Vertex has Servette Geneva up next. RCD Espanyol has RJM waiting for them coming up this weekend on the B stream, but coming up in our next match, our final match of today on the European side. It is Servette Geneva. You thought Team Vertex had an uphill climb. They've got to take on Solary and Carrion, who has been white hot. He's coming up next. You don't want to miss it.
In another week, or will be not.
while it's hot.
I don't know why I let you, but you had to light a spark in me. Lost control, falling over, getting pulled in by your gravity. Thought that I had figured it out, never felt it rationally, but this sense of urgency has me wondering. Thought that I had figured it out, nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering. When you're not around it, all goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color? How come I'm not seeing in So far gone, I'm caught up, infatuated by our symmetry. It feels like before now, I was only half of me. Thought that I had figured it out, never felt it rationally, but this sense of urgency has me wondering. Thought that I had figured it out, nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering. When you're not around it, all goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night.
RCD Espanyol takes the pitch because they take the show. Took 5 games, but they absolutely come through with the win, and the last one was a doozy. Joining me one more time is Supersonic and, of course, Stacks. A fantastic matchup that time around. Supersonic, we're real excited about it. Break it down for me.
Well, tell of the tape. They lose game 1s, they win game 2s, they lose games 3s and 4s. That's ended up what we saw happening here again today. The defense felt strong in game 2. Game 3, at one point, it really felt like they found the sweet spot and they had that rhythm going, both offensively and defensively. But it feels like at times Vertex starts trying to crank that dial and they start playing at a speed that they can't get to. And if Coca ends up being that first man in, the other two need to start recognizing that he's up there and somebody needs to be in net. There was just way too many open net opportunities for RCD Espanyol.
Kind of tough there. And, you know, Stacks, you were talking about this one. You said it won't be a sweep. You predicted RCD Espanyol, but you went against the grain. Me and Super kind of sat here going, all right, 3-0, easy peasy for the number 1 team. Why were you so confident knowing that Team Vertex, what was behind Team Vertex?
I think that all the experience that they have, especially Nagflow, he's a great competitor too. You would have seen that from his time in the Gfinity Elite Series. He always seems to step up to the level of competition that he's going up against. And that also kind of trickled down to what we saw from Coca and Dumaine. And you're going to see this a lot against Espanyol when they go up against teams like Servette or RJM, or in this case, Vertex. These teams are going to give Espanyol their best shot because Espanyol's got a target on their back. You know, they're coming back after last season. Everybody knows how good Chamois is. Everybody knows how good Steak is, especially. And a lot of people have been talking about this Toxcat, and he's been pretty good as well. So everybody knows that this is the team to beat. They showed it. They stay at the top of the standings. And I don't think they're going to have any easy walks in the park as they go through the second half.
That's a good point. Before we move on, I do want to bring up that goal that Tox had in game number 4. Watch the VOD. Yeah. It was an RLCS level shot. You don't want to miss it, especially with Vertex on the mind. Watch that team. We'll see how far they can climb. Coming up next, our 4th and final match of the afternoon here for the European Rival Series. We've got Solary versus Servette Geneva Esports. Solary will be Meloshisu, Exotic, and Kyrian, and Servette will be repped by Zephyr, Mirror Wing, and Yagi. Watching these 6 take the field should be interesting. Solary number 3 overall, Servette Geneva, kind of towards the bottom as they find themselves 1 and 3. That's a little bit rough, but we saw a similar situation with Team Vertex. Stacks, talk to me about this matchup and where you think it's going to lie.
Well, here's what you need to know about these two teams. There's a much bigger gap this time around than there was in the previous match. When you look at Solary, they are around the middle of the pack with their defense. They do give up a couple of goals per game, but they're also scoring a little bit more than that as well. They've also got the 2nd highest shooting percentage in the league. When they get opportunities, especially Kyrian, he will more often than not convert. On the other side, here's what you need to know about Servette Geneva. 10th in scoring, 10th in defense, 10th in shooting percentage in a 10-team league. They're 4-10. They haven't won a game by more than a goal yet. They've also been outscored 24-4 in their last 6 games, which they've all lost. You thought the last match was an uphill climb. They are trying to climb Mount Everest here.
Well, this one seems like the table's already set. Supersonic, give me your info and give me your prediction for our final match of the day.
I 100% agree with Stacks. This is a bigger battle than the last one. I have to take Solary on this one. Kyrian's been playing so hot. He's great on the defensive side. He's got a great offensive presence. And then on defense also, you've got Meloshisu. If Kyrian's not available, Meloshisu's there to block him away. And I just don't see the offensive power of Servette Geneva being able to break through that ironclad defense.
Stacks?
Yeah, I've got Solary here as well. I don't think that Servette can match the offensive firepower that this French squad is going to bring in. We saw them, especially last weekend, when they just looked fantastic against Notorious Legion. Bit of a bizarre series, the way those games went, but they managed to pull it out in Game 5, and Kyrian, he's been a human highlight reel so far.
Well, you heard what Stack said earlier. He's never wrong, unless he is. But this is one of the times he's right, and I'm going to go with Solary. Laying down the numbers and the stats, I believe in that. Looking across the way, just for the eye test as well. Meloshisu is a ton of fun to watch. I love watching this guy move in and out. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to move in to the next game. I'm going to move out. Supersonic and Stacks all the way up, baby.
All right, when you look at these two teams, Supersonic, it is only a 3-2 record for Solary. We talked them up like they're like this juggernaut in the European Rival Series, but they do have a couple of Game 5 losses, albeit to Team BDS and to RCD Espanyol. But they're not that far ahead of Servette Geneva in the standings. This is huge for Servette.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we talked so much about Kyrian, however, in their matchup, Game 3, 3 out of 4 goals last week came off of whiffs or bad touches from him. So every now and then he's opening up and creating opportunities for the opposition on that defensive half. So he's got to stay consistent there. We'll be looking to see if he can maintain possession of the ball and get some better touches defensively.
It is a relatively safe bet that this one would not go 5 games. Servette Geneva has not seen a Game 5 so far this season. But if they can pull out a win in such a game, they would certainly take it. Here's Kyrian. Good pass over to Meloshisu, but his drive's going to be well wide. Seems like Solary right now just testing the waters here, see what they can get away with against Servette Geneva. Servette going to face yet another salvo. It's going to be Zephyr. lobbing one into Carrion, and we'll see if Servette can get on the right half of the field here. They do at least get a little token pressure, but nothing quite towards the net.
Yeah, it really feels like they've kind of given the speed so far up to the team, up to the side of Solary. At the beginning there, we saw Kieran go up into the corner. Two players from Servette come up to the wall. One of them backs out, back down to the box. The other one makes no attempt to pressure the ball, and they're going to need to put pressure against these guys. You're not going to want to let them have possession and just slowly bring the ball up to your net, get whatever shots or passes they want off.
Yagi does get in front of this shot, and now one on from Mirror. That's going to be saved away as well. Exotic, another big lob downfield. This turns into a track meet running up and down the field with clear after clear. You have to imagine that will favor Solary. But right now, Mirror Wing, his shot's going to be saved by Meloshisu. He had to make that save falling into his own net. Now Mirror. Looking to center again for Zafair, and Exotic jumps in the way. There's at least some offensive pressure from Servette, but they can't sustain it. This ball will actually not cleared downfield. Now it is, as Carrion will find Exotic, and Yagi gets in the way as well. But Carrion with a clever first touch has to get taken out by Mirror Wing.
Yeah, Mirror, good to go in, take him out there, but it's one of those things that Kieran does so well. He gets control of the ball, and he's a threat. You don't take him off the field there, he's going to easily put that one into the back of your goal. Good job for them recognizing that and getting out and blocking him.
Carrion to Meloshisu, but no third man to follow up as he'll wait all the way back. Now Melo again. Back it goes to Exotic, and again, back and forth. These teams continue to play, and you're just waiting for someone to make a silly mistake. Nothing punished just yet.
The ball was up for a long time there. There was nobody from the Servette Geneva side that came in to make a challenge on that. They just left it, but as we're talking about it, Zafair going to come in, get himself a goal as he brings that one up and under the defense.
Servette has won exactly 4 games this season, all by 1 goal, and here they lead late in game 1 against one of the better teams they've faced on the schedule. Almost a second goal, but that save made by Carrion. Now Exotic. Backflip flick to try and send one on, change the speeds. Might have been better served just throwing one at full speed. It didn't work out. Now Exotic trying to force one through, and Zafair very patiently waiting for the save.
This pacing right now out of Solary does feel like it's going their way as Kieran brings one across the backboard and Exotic picks that one up. They're starting to get this speed going. It feels like they're in possession of the ball and the pace of this game, and they have tied it up. And in the final minute, that's not what Servette Geneva wants to see.
Yeah, all that hard work to get a late lead in game 1 has been washed away by the efforts of Carrion and Exotic, and then Carrion almost broke their hearts again. We dip down towards the final minute, and things are getting a little hairy on the defensive end for Servette, but they hold strong. Now Zafair will find Meloshisu on the backboard. That's a whiff at midfield, and Solary will not give up possession. Meloshisu got one, almost got another, and Zafair recovers to make the save. They're not out of the woods just yet, but they do have the numbers advantage. 3-on-2 the other way, and Carrion makes the save.
Man, we're talking about how much fun Meloshisu and Carrion are to watch, but don't forget about Exotic. He is going to go for some nutty shots. Couple of them so far this match where he's tried to get some creative force throughs, take the ball under defenders, ground pinch. He's throwing everything he has at these guys, and eventually one of these is going to get through.
Zafair, the lone goal for Servette Geneva. Exotic, the only strike so far for Solary, and now 2-on-1 the other way. It is Yagi trying to win this in regulation. He cannot. That ball is not touched down yet, however. Now it will, as Servette had a golden opportunity. Now they go to golden goal. And a drive early on in overtime, saved by Yagi, ranging to the post. They watched game one flash before their very eyes. Now Mello with a shot. That's stopped by Yagi. Double commit, sent away by Zafer. So Servette will get away with it. Now back the other way. Mira, can he get back in time? Yes, he can, but only barely. Follow up from Kyrian. He's missed it high. He's human after all. And Servette with two close calls. Now watch him score on the other end. No, Kyrian makes the stop.
Bit of a triple commit there on the Servette side, and then almost a double commit up for that ball. Servette Geneva basically just scrambling for 48 seconds so far here in this OT.
Both these teams have played plenty of overtimes, and they've played plenty of time in extra time so far this season. Geneva looking for their second OT win. It would be huge against this Solary squad. Mirror over Exotic. Tried to pinch that along the ground, but Carrion not fooled. This will drop back to Meloshisu. That threw off the timing of the Servette defense, but Yagi makes yet another clear right at the post. Now Exotic. Oh, what a drop down for Carrion. And again, knocked away by Zafer. The passes are very clever, Super, but the defense of Servette Geneva is not backing down yet.
The defense isn't backing down, but the defense isn't getting anything transitionally here as they open up the net. And finally, the goal is going to go the way of Solary. 2-1, minute 42 into OT as they take this one down. Servette was just scrambling that entire back half of that match.
And maybe a time where the defense should have backed down a little bit. They tried to all break downfield. They forgot to leave somebody back at the back door, and they got punished for it. And on shot number 17 for Solary, Carrion with yet another astronomically high stat line just across the board. I mean, you don't see this very often. You know, in a low-scoring game, a guy still got 5 shots and 4 saves. You think, okay, he's not going to score, is he? Yes, he is, and he did. He finds a way to do it all every week.
Yeah, he's there on both ends of the field all the time. You go back and look at any of the stat lines. He's somebody that is both the offense and defensive presence on the field. He's also a guy that's out there controlling the midfield. Wherever he needs to be, he's there. His positioning is top-notch here in this league.
And so Solary staves off the upset bid in game one. Now Servette, after, again, you wonder, when have they given a team their best shot? Is Solary going to come out in game two and have that moment where something goes their way and they just break the spirits of their opposition? We'll see if it happens, and if so, when, as we head to Neo Tokyo. And just mentally a must-win for Servette, right, Super?
Absolutely. You got to get the win here on the Servette side to stay in this. You've got to get wins just period going for you to try and mentally stay in this for the season. But the back half of that game where they were on defense, they had a ton of saves. They saved for 1 minute and 42 seconds, but no control. It seems like once the pressure's on them, they just power clear the ball over and over again back into mid. And Solary, their midfield presence is huge. It cannot be overstated. They are there.
Yagi almost got the bump that would have opened up the net on that upper corner, but just could not knock the defender away, and so scoring opportunity is lost. This will bounce straight down, and it will be Carrion to follow that play up, and it just feels like Solary a little bit faster to react to everything that happens on the field. Servette, they have hung around so far in the first 7 minutes of this series. There's another big save made by Mirror on another huge drive. But again, they just can't get that sustained offense, as it seems like Solary is beating them to almost everything.
The spread on the field from Solary is so solid. The majority of the time on these clears, and they're trying to kick it off to the sidewall, wherever they can get the ball to. Servette's just kind of trying to get it away from their net. Somebody from Solary's almost always there to bring it right back at them, and it's just relentless how they pound the net.
Maloshisu looking for Carrion Yoni, but that's going to be well wide. And Mirror makes the save. Now he can start the attack downfield for Servette, but Solary is all the way back. They do rotate very quickly as Exotic will have that right down to Maloshisu, and they baited Mirror Wing up a clear right down the middle of the field. Numbers the other way, and they should have a goal. They may still yet. No, it's cleared by Mirror. Now Carrion, plenty of boost to follow this, and Mirror makes that stop as well. Boy, if not for the efforts of Mirror there and Yagi just now, this could be at least 1-0, maybe 2.
I mean, every clear, I've said it multiple times this match, but it just keeps happening over and over again. They cannot get this ball out of their half of the field. The time under pressure on the Servette side, you can't possibly maintain defense for the amount of time that they have. They have for 2.5 minutes so far, but they haven't been able to get out of their half.
Yeah, when you try to graph out the positioning of all the players, whether they're on the offensive or defensive third of the field, I mean, it is staggering how much time Solary has spent right in the face of Servette, and Exotic finally breaks through the defense.
They're getting through after just relentless attack after attack after attack. It's got to be so aggravating. Every time you try and clear this ball away, somebody's there hitting it right back in your face. It's going to be a tough match.
I mean, it's amazing. Maloshisu has spent as much time in the Servette defensive end, defensive third, as most of Servette has spent on the defensive half of the field. It has been, or actually no, on the offensive half of the field. It has been stunning how far up he has been throughout this series, and especially this game, as Yagi will play one right at Kyrian. Mirror will have a shot, but it's going to be well high. Sent away by Exotic. Now lobbed over to Mirror Wing. He is up first. And Exotic with a rare whiff, and Zafir can't put it home. Mirror will try. It's still there on the doorstep, and they do not convert.
Possibly the only golden gift opportunity that they were going to have this entire series was just presented to them, and the offensive side is so out of rhythm, being stuck on defense. No one's willing to commit up as the second man and try and make a play on that ball. They just left it there for the one player to try and work with time and time again. You've got to be willing to come up and give that man a bit of support.
Carrion over to Mello. Can't get out of the zone. All three Servette cars, though, on the left side. They've got to spread out a little bit as we get to the final minute. They don't mathematically need to win this game, but again, battling this tough Solary squad so closely as they have, it could be extremely deflating to come up short by a single goal twice in a row. Mello for Yagi to clear with 30 seconds left. Now to be Exotic. This will pinball around. It is Zafir quickly onto this. Rare case where Servette has beaten Solary to a ball. Zafir has a chance. That will ricochet out towards the mid. Yagi can't get this centered for anybody, and they'll have to try one more time with 10 seconds left. Signals get crossed between Mirror and Zafir, but Yagi can get to this. Meloshisu's got to have the clear, and he does, with no time on the clock. Servette with one last gasp, and that will end it in game 2. A shutout for Solary, but boy, did they have to earn it down the stretch.
They definitely had to battle to get those goals in. They were taking a ton of shots. They maintained possession of that ball basically the entire match. So I do have to speak to the fact that Servette, when they're on defense and they have bodies back, they're there. They're getting blocks. They're getting stops. But they can't get anything transitioning to create any offensive pressure of their own. It's going to be disastrous if they can't figure some way to get around them. I don't know if you need to start trying to just catch the ball, take possession at your line, and try and drive it out from there. But your clears are not working for you. You've got to find something and get it going.
Well, a team that gives up over 3 goals per game in Servette Geneva, they have been solid on the defensive end. They've held Solary to only 3 goals in 2 games, but as mentioned, even though it has been a low-scoring series, they haven't been able to get the W they need. Now they drop down 0-2 in this series, and they've got to come up with a reverse sweep against a team that, again, when they have had chances to close out teams, they have converted. And this Solary team looking to try and keep pace with the likes of Notorious Legion, who we saw earlier today, and even RCD Espanyol.
It's going to be really tough here for Servette Geneva to get something going after 2 games of not really being able to get any offense started. You've been over 10 minutes of game time and not able to get that going. How do you find it here in game 3 that you're stuck in the defensive half forever?
It seems unfair to mention this, given that, again, Servette has played outstanding on the defensive end, but the losing streak expands to 8 games now where they've been outscored a total of 27-5. Here is Mirror tracking this ball at midfield, and the shot's going to be saved by Carrion. Another center ball. This will find Yagi. What a clever passing play, but Carrion there for the stop again. And again, Solary getting it done on both ends of the field. Carrion is just a menace for the rest of Europe to deal with.
And Exotic is still that guy. I know we didn't talk about him beforehand, but he's somebody to watch. He's going in, he's getting kind of these awkward second touches. On that last play when they made their attack, he came up, got the awkward touch, put it into the wall, immediately bumped the defender up the wall. He's looking for everything he needs to. Great pass from Mello with a nice shot. Gonna be just off the mark.
Man, go back and look at that play too. You know, the replays are always made available. Watch that play. That is fantastic teamwork that should have resulted in a goal. The final shot at the end ends up being high, but you had everything. A little dummy play at midfield. They finally leave for a big shot. Now a shot on the other side. Zaffair denied by Exotic. They had everything except the finish, and now Servette looking to make them pay for not converting that goal, as they will try to counter yet again.
What is this play from Exotic in the midfield as he tries to pre-flip that ball to get him to stop? It just, he's everywhere right now. Exotic's very impressive to me so far this game. He's been available on everything. Another shot opportunity from him. He's putting pressure everywhere.
And you just saw him steal another boost pad out of the zone. He's stolen about 9 of them so far in this game alone. He has been just impossible for Servette to deal with, and that adds up over time as well. Zaffair with a rather weak shot, just trying to get a rebound opportunity for Yagi. Nobody wins this challenge, and the ball will only get as far as Zaffair. Zaffair flies over, trying to maybe deke out the defense. It did not work out. Carrion can't roll one by Yagi as we dip inside 2 minutes here, and again, not a lot of offense on the side of Servette, but not much on the side of Solary as well. They've been stifled every chance they've had against Servette in game 3.
Both teams getting stifled here by each other. It seems like a battle of the defenses at the moment. Eventually, though, I do expect this one to go the way of Solary if they keep maintaining. Exotic gonna get that knock away. Exotic with the steals, and when they do get boost, they're getting demoed. It's been super aggressive from both Mello and Exotic on the demo side as well this match.
Yeah, Mello's got quite a few, as you mentioned, but now here is Mello trying to maybe run interference. No, and you wonder if he might have been better served. He did have to get that ball back inside the lines, though. Now Geneva trying to find a goal in the last minute. They scored late in game 1. They were answered by Solary, who eventually won in the 2nd minute of overtime. They have not scored since that 1 goal in game 1. Yagi, that's going to be high. Might have been deflected by Mello. Now Mirror can't keep this centered as Mello will clear away. Not a lot of excitement in the last couple of minutes offensively for Solary. That's maybe one of their better chances they've had in the second half. It leads to nothing. Zaffair will miss this, though. Mirror's got to sprint back, and that shot wide from Mello. to wonder if he wants that one back, as he probably had more to shoot at than he initially thought.
Had a completely open net there. Going to be off mark and doesn't get the power on it. Nice attempt there from Zafir off the backboard, looking for that double touch. Unfortunately, not able to put it on the money.
Final seconds of regulation. We're looking at yet another overtime here in our second half of Europe. And Lasarian breaks their hearts. And oh my goodness, did he ever?
Man, what a shot from Carrion. The highlight reel himself as he comes in. Flip reset right into that open side of the net on the left side. Great shot.
Every time with Carrion, Notorious Legion thought they had him beat, but Carrion came to the rescue, and then one last save as that ball was floating towards the net, indicative of this whole series and season so far for Servette. They only get one goal in almost 12 minutes of gameplay. It came from Zafir, and it wasn't enough to take a game off of Carrion Yoni and Solary. Wow.
What a series. Defensively, Servette Geneva impressed me. They were there. They just need to start figuring out these transition. How do you get out of your half? You're fine on your own half. You're holding it down. You've shut the gate. You're blocking them out. But how do you get that offensive half going? You've got to figure something out there. Servette showed a little bit of life. If they can get that figured out for the second half, they still have a shot at least making it up into the middle of the pack, maybe maintain a spot, but they're going to need to figure offense out if they want to stay and not end up in a relegated position.
Well said, Supersonic. Great job as always on the call there. Super and Stacks. You guys really bringing the energy, because Solary absolutely did as well, grabbing their 4th win of the season, now 4-2. A great look for them for sure. Servette Geneva, a little bit to work on. Stacks, talk to me about how they find the win next time.
Man, again, you this is one of those that you have to push out of your mind, because it's just yet another team checked into the old Heartbreak Hotel by Carrion and Solary. I mean, you're not always going to go up against someone like Carrion, who just has this sense of when he can deal the most damage to a team. But, you look at what they did defensively. They were a little slow getting into the offensive end, a little bit like Vertex. But what I liked is how quickly they did get back on the defensive end. They didn't give up any real freebies to Solary. There was that one overtime goal there that you thought, oh man, somebody had a defensive breakdown. If they can just find ways to get more quality looks on the offensive end, get that ball centered, get a good pass far out from the backboard, they could be a dangerous team in the second half, but the clock is ticking for them.
We'll see just how dangerous they wind up being. Servette Geneva Esports still on the bottom side of things, coming into this week number 9 overall in Europe, and still sitting pretty, as they do have one win over Baguette squad, who is still, unfortunately, winless. RCD Espanyol, quite the opposite, 4-0. As far as their win-loss is concerned, Solary moves up to numero dos. You love to see it. Eyes still on We Dem Girlz. They split 2-2 as they take a loss this week to Notorious Legion Esports. And I finish my thought with that team. Notorious Legion Esports, they're 2-2 here. Some of the matches that we saw off stream, watching them play against the RLCS teams, they brought it. So eyes on those guys for sure. Very impressive stuff watching them go through. Supersonic, you have anything to say about Notorious Legion?
I absolutely loved watching them this weekend in the European Invitational. That team is starting to piece things together. They have got some high-flying, high-powered offense, and they're going to become a problem for teams if they can maintain that pace.
Well, our cards are automatic, but let's shift gears real quick into North America. That's going to be happening a little bit later, just about an hour or two. Stay tuned. Match number 1 will be Jacob and 72 Pin Connector versus RBG Esports. Somebody's got to win. Chaos Esports Club takes on Warriors International. We'll see Ablev go head-to-head against Monkey Business. And then Holy Stromboli will take the field, see if they can contain and maintain themselves 5-0. above Mirage. So an interesting look here from the boys in North America that, of course, will be in just a little bit. That puts a dot on our European broadcast, though. Supersonic, what's it like talking from Vegas?
Talking from Vegas, a little less humidity here. It's not exactly really humid in California, but like it feels good. I'm used to zero humidity, so my my vocal cords, everything feel right at home here. So I'm having a good time being at home.
Stack, you certainly seem to have a lot of fun here. You thinking the same thing for North America?
Yeah, I'm interested to see a lot of these teams now that they know, there are some anyways that know they're not auto promoting because they're not going to catch Stromboli. Yeah, they're already 5-0. At this point, there are some teams like 72 and RBG that are just trying to keep their spot next season. But I've really got my eyes on those two middle matches, Chaos and Warriors and Monkey Business Ablev. Boy, those are two matches that, as these teams continue to fight for those second and third spots, trying to bring some teams back down towards them, those are going to be a lot of fun to watch. These teams are going to beat the heck out of each other. It's going to be great.
And he's in the future. Europe's behind us, and the present is absolutely a gift. From North Hollywood down here to North Atlanta, we appreciate you tuning in from our home to yours. Make sure to tune in to North America, and we'll catch you next time, Rivals.
We used to think our words were gold, that our blinded hearts could withstand cold. We were catching diamonds in the rain, letting precious water through the drain. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never ride. Oh, they were dancing way up high. We built these walls so we could find who could prove themselves through the waves of time. We're trying to repent before you sin. It's like giving up before you begin. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never ride. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, future we will never ride. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry. dry, it was bone dry. Thought another goal is all we needed. Taking second chances till we bleed. And when all the love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in their light, that's that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light. Future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry. It was bone dry.